Welcome to the Horror Hangout, a podcast where film fans watch the best and worst horror movies of all time and talk about them. My name is Ben Errington, and today I'm joined by regular co-host Mr.
Andy Conduit Turner. Hello, Ben. How are you?
I'm feeling good. How are you? You doing all right?
Yeah, doing all right. Just had a lovely restorative bank holiday weekend, haven't we?
Yeah, restorative bank holiday weekend. Most of it was spent horizontal. That's not a dirty joke for any of you out there. I
Just you
was,
sleep 8 hours a day. That's quite a bit of it.
yeah, that's a good percentage. I reckon more than 8 hours a day this time. I was really taking advantage of it. So yeah, I'm feeling refreshed. I'm feeling. Did you have any chocolate eggs? Did you have any hot cross buns? Did you have anything
Did
else with a religious symbol on it?
I had a hot cross bun on Friday. I had
Nice.
obviously eggies on Sunday.
Eggies.
Get your chocolate
Oh, chocolate
eggies
eggies. Chocolate
and
eggies.
dippy eggs for breakfast, so you're full of some
Oh,
nutrition. Dippy eggs.
egg crazy.
Yeah,
What's your favorite way
that's
to have an egg? Is it dippy?
yeah, dippy egg for especially
Mm.
as a treat.
I like a poached egg. However, I feel like the act of making a poached egg, unless you've perfected it, uh, it's a dangerous game. You end up with just eggy water.
Yeah, you got to be careful.
No,
Got to
no
be
one likes that.
careful. I mean, secret for this one, if you're listening for the culinary hangout
Spin your water,
podcast,
is that it?
what
Make
you
a
do is
vortex.
a vortex. You know where you can become less reliant on a vortex, though, Ben,
Go on.
is if you drop your eggie in like a little mug before you put it in. When you crack it into just a mug, a little bit of lemon juice in there,
Oh yeah, I've read
hold it
about
shaped
this.
lovely.
Oh, look at that. I've read about this. See, I tend to
Get
just
stuck in.
these days, I tend to just go for scrambled because
Easy,
zi
isn't it?
0% effort really there, isn't it? It's just crazy.
Yeah. Oh,
Chaos.
but you can
Egg
overdo a
chaos.
scrambled egg. Yuck.
You don't like a scrambled egg? It's all the
No,
same,
if
isn't
you
it? It's
overdo
all
it,
the
if you overdo it, too dry.
Oh yeah. Dry.
You
Crumbly. Ever so
need a
crumbly.
lot. You need a lot of butter in there.
Yeah, exactly. I had a few chocolate eggs. I don't go crazy these days. Eggs. We're talking nostalgia with Mr. Ed Harvey just a couple of weeks ago. Let's talk about Easter egg nostalgia briefly. Like mainstream culture, we used to go crazy for an Easter egg. You used to be able to get like
Yeah,
used to get an Easter egg with like some sweeties, maybe like an egg cup,
inside it, right? Yeah, a
yeah,
little egg cup in there, or like a full size mug.
full size
Just
mug. Used to
to
get that.
get really like it's an heirloom. Like years later, this brown mug with the Smarties logo on it is my favorite
It's
mug. All
my
right.
favorite bloody mug. I got this from an Easter egg back in the day. Nowadays, I mean, it's literally just an egg, pretty much, isn't it? Unless you go crazy. I like to go a little bit posh when you go to like
Cost you a
Marks and
bloody mortgage
Spencer's.
payment, though, doesn't it? Cost you a
I
lot of
know it
Easter eggs these
does.
days.
It's weird. It's weird how, as a society, we have just accepted that chocolate in egg form is thrice the price, maybe more sometimes.
Yeah, you couldn't melt that amount of chocolate. I mean, it is the more delicious in egg shapes, but
Have you got if when it's an egg shaped, have you got a method to your madness? Do you crack it open, put in a perfect couple of sides to immediately
drop an elbow
symmetrical
on it.
sides? Elbow.
Yeah.
Put your elbow on it.
Drop an elbow on it, or like get the
Oh
counter, just
yeah.
proper smash it
But
like
then
a
it just goes
pinata.
everywhere, doesn't it? And you've made a
Oh, you'd leave it inside the foil.
oh yeah, I still like that.
It's like trampling a man in a sleeping bag.
It's exactly like that. Something we of course we've seen already in horror cinema
Recently,
this year.
it's like if it's like I that's exactly what I do. I the prophecy my Easter
Mm.
eggs, Ben, and I'm the bear, and my Easter eggs that little boy in his sleeping bag. I just obliterate him against the tree, and then eat him.
Rest in peace, mate. Rest in peace to that lad in his sleeping bag. Um, yeah, so I mean, this week it's just the two of us again.
We can make
Uh,
it if we try, Ben.
we can make it if we try, and we'll try as we might. We will.
Yeah, we are reliably informed our guests have alive and well. They've not been slept off by horrible vampires.
And it's not like we're not inviting guests. People seem to like still join us on the show. So maybe see it as a nice treat when it's just me and Andy. A
Yeah, maybe
nice,
some people do.
maybe not a treat, maybe just a little bit something different, a little bit of something different. And we're talking about um the film of the moment, the film very literally of the week. Everyone's talking about it. I think it's had the biggest opening for, and I'm not sure if this is UK or US, biggest opening for like a original property movie for a long old time, I believe.
Yeah, good, good. If there's
Good.
one thing I'm a little bit sick of before we get into news, it's IP. So come on, new
IP.
exciting
Yeah.
stuff, please.
I will say this is the perfect example. You know, when people go, "Oh, there ain't any bloody good films these days, are there? Everything's a bloody sequel or remake or this, that." I'll go, "Look." I won't even say look. I'll just gesture towards this film. I'll just go, "Look over here. Have a look. Have a
Yeah.
ganders at this." You know.
Listen, your old mate Ryan Coogler's been at it, and he's got something for you.
I'll tell you what, Ryan Coogler. I don't think I've seen absolutely everything of his filmography, but I will say everything that I have seen, Creed movies, Black Panther movies, of course. I don't think I've seen Fruitvale Station, actually, although it's been on my list for a while, his first film. But what I will say is, you know what to expect. And what to expect
Michael B. Jordan,
is Michael B. Jordan in
his
a
mate.
role, in a great role with loads of great characters in a well-written, fleshed out world. Because this is one, two, three, four for four, I think. Four or five for five now, in terms of like films that have been critical successes, at least. So he's definitely establishing himself. And I've seen this film described as a bit of a blank check movie, where that he's done the business of making a couple of Marvel films, and obviously the Creed movie, and he's involved with Creed 2 and 3, like as a producer, I believe, as well. But like now he's gone right, my own original property. And yeah, the powers that be have literally gone, spend as much money as you want, hiring as many actors as you want, creating whatever you want, and we'll bankroll you. Go for it. And he's gone, I will. And then this is the
Yeah.
result.
And hopefully, as a result of this, and we'll talk about the movie in a bit, but hopefully this will continue to earn him more trust that, oh, you should let creative and talented people just do the thing they want to do.
Oh hell yeah. Absolutely. I am almost wondering, like, is this the kind of are these the kind of films he wants to make? Like genre films with horror elements in them as well, or kind of like period pieces? Or is he kind of one of those filmmakers who just goes, "This is what I'm going to make next. Who knows what it's going to be, what
Yeah, I
genre it's
mean,
going to cover."
you mentioned that this was a like a blank check movie, but I also understand that basically he pitched the movie, started putting it together, and it got a lot of attention. And loads of the studios, including Warner Brothers, who ultimately have published this, all just going ham on like a bidding war, right? Saying, "Oh,
Oh
we'll
wow, okay,
bankroll this." So it's not even that they were given permission; it's that a lot of people got wind of what they were coming up with here,
yeah,
and they said, "Yeah, I want a piece of this."
I want in with this. Why not? And yeah, and almost everybody else involved, like obviously, um, everybody, all of the actors are fantastic and have got fantastic careers behind them already. But even like Ludwig Göransson, the composer who worked on the soundtrack as well, like he's been doing bits for ages now. Like he's appearing on some of the biggest movie soundtracks. I think he did a lot of stuff for Black Panther and the Creed movies. He did Oppenheimer as well, which is a bit of a big one because obviously usually Chris Nolan teams up with Hans Zimmer, but he's gone, I fancy a bit of you now, Ludwig. Why not? I think he did the Mandalorian
Yeah,
music as well, and a lot of the Star Wars music for the TV shows. So, and I think the soundtrack is one thing that is really, really a standout in this film.
yeah, the soundtrack is incredible, and I mean, obviously, everyone listening today, you'll hear a lot of podcasts that will talk about the performances, about the direction, that will talk about the soundtrack to this movie. Maybe you'll only hear this on the Horror Hangout, though. I think already, Ben, I don't want to do our awards yet for the year, but bonk on the head of the year, I reckon, this film.
Wait, bonk on the head of the year. Who got a bonk
Yeah.
on the head of the year? Who was it?
We'll
Remind
we'll
me.
get to it. We'll
We'll
get
get
to it when
to
we
it.
go towards
Oh,
it's
I have not remembered
I'll
immediately.
set it up for you. It's towards the end of the movie, in the final
Yeah.
scenes of the movie. We get a bonk on the head
Oh,
that echoes across the
echoes
world.
across time. Oh God, well, we'll
It
get to
does.
it. I might need to be
Almost does.
reminded.
Sometimes you'll get a bonk on the head so powerful it can conjure the past and the future all into one.
Oh, that scene though, and again, we'll get to that scene. Like initially, I was like,
Brilliant.
"What is going on?" And then I was like, this is banging. Like this is great." And I guess music is obviously something that plays a big part in this film as well, from the establishing title crawl where we kind of establish this world, and then obviously the young musician that's introduced, the way he plays, and then like music that like transcends space and time, as this film often does as well. And yeah, we will get into it. There's lots and lots to discuss. Of
So,
course,
so cool.
yes. We'll stick
And
with.
just
Go on, go
stick
on.
with us. The one thing I will say, just as we close out the little opening summary, the little opening barrage here is this film is 138 minutes long.
No,
Normally, I'm like, my goodness, this is killing me.
no, didn't feel like that at
Breezy,
all.
breezy,
Almost
breezy.
felt like, almost felt like, could do with it being a bit longer. And
Oh
again,
yeah,
I'll explain potentially why. I just feel like in terms of the three act structure, I feel like that third act feels very lean. And the other acts perfectly. I wanted them to be that length to establish these certain characters and their relationships and histories with each other. But yeah, I feel like once things kick off, it possibly flies through it a bit too fast for my liking. But
yeah.
then again, 2 hours 38, you can. Is that right? Is that what I said?
What
Um,
is it? Hang on. It
two
is
hours. Or 2 hours 18, I guess.
138, 138 minutes, so
Okay,
2 hours
so
10, 2 hours 18.
2 hours 18. So yeah, I would have happily had a bit more length. Give me a
Yeah.
bit more length, will you? Oh, he's
I
not
mean, to
asked
be
for that
fair, I would
before.
go out there. Like, I think with the depth of the characters, sometimes you'll see a film and you want it to keep it to that 85, 90 minutes because
Hmm.
you're not there for the development of the characters. You want them to get in and get to the action. But all of the characters are so well fleshed out in this movie that, you know what? You could have given me a 10-hour limited series of this. I'd have turned
Yeah.
up for it.
Exactly. I think the thing is that it does establish all these characters so well, and you care about them that when they start getting offed in quick succession, spoilers, of course, there are lots of, we're going to spoil the whole film. When they do start getting offed in quick succession, it's like, oh, I can't keep up. I'm not being given enough time to sit with this and understand this and feel a certain way. I'm kind of trying to just take stock of who's alive and who's dead, which I feel like I feel like it shouldn't have come to that. But yeah, we'll discuss that and try and maybe understand my reasonings for. I think that for me is what stops this film being a knock it out of the park. Holy shit, this is unreal. To yeah, it was great, and I feel like that's where
Yeah.
I'm at currently. But yeah, we'll get
Yeah.
into it.
I'm going to go in early, and obviously there's time for these things to settle down. But at present, at time, I'm only a couple of hours of having seen it. Um, right now, I don't think there's anything that's topping this film of the year for me so far that I've seen so far. Obviously, there's the majority of the year still to go, but um, yeah,
Yeah, I don't
might be my
know.
new high bar for the year.
Yeah, it's definitely up there. I'm just trying to think about what else I've seen this year. That could potentially. Well, actually, I did really enjoy Companion, and I think I did say that. I
That
think
was really good.
Companion for a nice surprise
That's
is
the top end of this list, though.
that's the top end of this list. Yeah. Right. Okay. So
We'll get into it.
sticking with Ryan Coogler, straight into horror news. Um, he's only talking about an X-Files series reboot. Have you heard about this?
I have heard about this.
You have
He
heard
said he
about
wants
this?
to be proper scary, though, right?
Proper scary. Yeah, turning his attention back to his X-Files series reboot. He's been excited about it for a long time. He confirms it is immediately next on his slate, and some of those episodes, if we do our jobs right, will be really effing scary. He said the rude word, but well, I could say it. Um,
Really effing scary because
right.
he was
So
on news
are we
round at the time.
talking? We're talking about keeping David Duchovny and Gillian Anderson, right? I mean, surely.
I don't know if it's a reboot. Are they?
I
It
don't know.
depends, right? Because I guess it depends because obviously both of them
Yeah.
still working actors, but you've got such a long tail on this. Do you want someone who you can potentially have doing this for 10, 15 years?
Yeah. But then again, well, these things are difficult, but maybe those characters still play a part, but, maybe they're not the only characters in it, the only main characters. I don't really know whether this is going to be a series, a movie. Obviously, we did get some revivals of X-Files in 2016 and 2018, of which I did watch both, and I did enjoy both. It didn't break the mold. It didn't go, it was very much more of the same. Still the kind of overlapping, overarching, sorry, alien invasion and alien abductions ideas, and then Monster of the Week episodes. That still happened. So yeah, depends what they want to do with it, really. Interesting though. I mean,
Yeah,
this is the thing. After watching this film, I think before, like obviously I knew how good he was, but after watching this, it really does make me go, okay, now I understand how he could work within this genre, and feel confident with that. Whereas before, obviously, things like Black Panther and Creed, it's easy to go. This is a really well made film, but
Different type of movie, though, right? It's
different
not
type of
horror.
movie, a huge budget. I mean, I know Sinners must have had a huge budget as well, but still, like, it's completely different. It's like proper blockbuster filmmaking, whereas this could potentially be different. I know he's had his hand in other things as well, like as we mentioned, of course, the sequels, the Creed sequels, and other things like that. So still, it would be very interesting to see where he goes with what is probably my favorite TV show ever, ever, ever. So
Just gonna just double checking what the budget was. 90 to 100 million, which actually for a
that's a
Hollywood
lot.
film, it's loads of money and it's a lot for a horror movie, but it's not
It's
for
not like,
for the people that are in it.
but then again, like it's an original IP as well. So if it's an original IP, put in a lot. 90 to 100 million is probably a lot, isn't it?
Yeah, like it's big money for a horror movie, but um yeah, like how much of that just with the volume of
Mm.
talent in this? Obviously
Oh yeah.
saved himself a few bob by Michael B. Jordan being in it twice.
Yeah, yeah. Michael B. Jordan. I've seen all the jokes. People saying Michael B. Jordan and Michael A. Jordan are the two in it here. Okay, so off the top of that, we've also got a teaser trailer for a movie called Him. I don't know if you've seen this advertised. It is a horror
No,
movie. And what is it about? It's about
Baddie
a
from the
man.
Powerpuff Girls.
What was that?
Baddie from the Powerpuff Girls, that big devil fella with
No,
high
no,
heels.
unfortunately not. That would be good though. Um, Cameron is a promising young athlete recovering from his potentially career-ending brain trauma, and he's at an isolated compound, which I guess is allowing sports people to recuperate. Um, and he's got a mentor who I think's played by Marlon Wayans. And yeah, what else? It looks like there's some weird stuff afoot, maybe some cult type um things happening. What am I willing to sacrifice is what is what the main character says before there's like a costume mascot who says everything or something like that. So it seems like sportsman recuperating, and then there's probably something weird afoot, some sort of cult like thing, some sacrifice he has to make in order to get back in the big time.
Okay. Gonna Hail Mary this. That's a sporting reference for you, Ben. He's a promising sporting person with a brain injury. The whole film is inside his mind.
Oh, interesting. He's gonna wake up. Oh, bloody hell, that was weird. Could be.
Yeah,
Jordan
and having
Peele's involved.
sacrificed
I don't.
something, it'll be, you know,
Yeah,
like identity.
potentially. I wouldn't be surprised. But yeah, I think Jordan Peele's involved as a producer. Yeah, producer Jordan Peele. Yeah, this could be interesting. I mean, maybe something horror and sports isn't always something that tends to go together in any way. But sports it can be very, very intense, and have some very intense characters surrounding it.
Yeah,
So, an obsession. The will and the drive to be the very best.
like no one ever
Is that
was.
Pokemon?
That is, yeah.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. To be the very best, like no one ever was. Exactly. So this is interesting. Looking forward to this. This is out. When is it out? I don't know. When is it out? September 19th. There we go.
Okay.
Scrolled all the way up and all the way down. So
And
yeah,
that's not
looking
the
forward to
only
that.
trailer that's on the horizon, right? As well as him. We
Yeah,
just before we got on the record, little needle came through saying, lads, the trailer's not right now, but it's tomorrow at time of recording. So by the time this comes out, you should
it'll
be able
be
to see it,
available.
everybody.
Yes, indeed. The trailer for I Know What You Did Last Summer, which is just called I Know What You Did Last Summer. They've done a Scream, right?
Yeah.
They've done a
Five
five
cream.
cream. They've just called it the original title, which I guess is the way to go with these films these
What
days,
would this be?
legacy
Would this be the
sequels.
fourth one?
Oh, good question. I think the fourth one, yeah. Yeah, because there was a third one, wasn't there? And that didn't have as big a cast, did it? There was I Know What You Did Last Summer, I Still Know What You Did Last Summer, and I'll always know what you did last summer. I Still Know What You Did Last Summer is the one on the island, isn't it? Like
Yeah.
which I think's all right.
Is number two the one with it's the fisherman's son and they electrocute him?
I think so, yeah. I think so. Jack Black is in it as he's uncredited actually. Titus Telesco. I think he's just like stoner character. I think he might have dreadlocks in it as well. Um, so yeah, I think I Still Know What You Did Last Summer is a good film.
And then I'll always know it did last summer, and this one just
Yeah, I always know what you did last summer. It's
I
from 2006.
where would you put the four in I know what you did last summer?
Yeah, where would you put the four?
Instead of the A in what? That's the most four like
Yeah, I
letter.
guess so. I know what you did. Do you know
I
what?
know
It's a bloody mouthful of a
the
title, isn't
fort
it?
you did last summer.
We're familiar with these films, so it feels like it's fine. But when you think about it, it's a bloody mouthful, these films. I know what you did last summer. Do you? You're right. There was a series as well, wasn't there? There was a TV series, 8 episodes. It was on Amazon Prime, 2021, I think. Pretty sure it got cancelled.
I'll get to it
Um,
eventually, mate, after I've finished the most important series work I'm doing.
yeah, you will. It won't be for a while, though, will it? But yeah, this new one is coming out. I think it's this year. July 18th is coming out this year. We've got a poster with the old hook hand. Um, I think someone did. We post we posted the poster on Instagram, and someone commented saying, "I hope they get a scene directed by a competition winner again." If we remember that particular
Yeah, hopefully a little boy once
a
again.
little boy. It's the best scene. It's the best scene in the whole film, and it's directed
What
by
are
a
you waiting
competition winner.
for?
What are you waiting for? But this one's directed by Jennifer Caton Robinson, who directed something called Do Revenge. I
Do
recognize the post.
Revenge.
Do Revenge.
I
Why don't
think I
you
might have
go
seen
and do a
that.
bit of revenge? Um, yeah, and yeah, I think that was on Amazon Prime as well. So yeah, maybe they're sticking with someone who's familiar with a bit of a teen cast in a way. But I guess as a legacy sequel, they're doing the same thing where established characters from the first couple of movies are there and thereabouts and are
They're
lent
gonna
on by a
turn
new
up.
cast. A new cast to go, bloody hell, this person that we knocked off and threw their body down a ravine.
That's a bit of
Good, you
foresight, isn't
deserve
it?
it.
Because
Everything that happens, you deserve in this film. Am I right?
yeah, you shouldn't run over people. Freddie Prince Jr. No, it's not. It's what's his name? Ryan Felipe.
If Ryan
Listen,
Felipe, yeah. Again, two people who in my head are like the same people. Ryan Felipe. Is it Felipe or Philippe and Freddie Prinz?
um,
Bloody hell. So yeah, maybe we'll do a reaction to that, if
I
it's
have seen. Sorry, Ben, I was very distracted there. I have seen Do Revenge. I rated it 3.5 stars.
oh nice. There we go. And Andy says check it out. But the next installment in a major franchise we're going to discuss, Andy, one more thing. Did you hear that the Tremors creators have got back their script rights and they have said Kevin Bacon could return for a new installment? Are they just going to call it Tremors? Is it going to be is it going to be a legacy sequel reboot? Who
I
knows?
mean,
We're
that would be
considering.
Burt Gummer Erasure if you just
Yeah,
did
yeah.
a.
It said so. Obviously, he reprised that role. Valentine. Valentine. What's his name? Valentine McKee. Is that it?
Oh,
Um, the Tremors TV series. There was a pilot, wasn't there, in 2017? But Sci-Fi just
yes.
went, nah, you're right. It never saw the light of day. But there was a trailer. The trailer for that pilot exists online now. But apparently, they've said we're considering ideas that feature the return of Kevin Bacon as Val, but no promises. Sounds like a promise to me. Don't know what you
Yeah,
think.
absolutely take it as a promise.
Why even mention it if it's not
Um,
a bloody promise?
you need to
Obviously,
have
Kevin
your big
Bacon's.
man, Michael Gross, has to be in there,
Yeah.
aka Bert, the one who
Um.
did keep rocking up for those sequels.
Yeah. And obviously, Kevin Bacon. He's still milling around in genre movies and TV shows. He's in that The Bondsman currently, where he's like a demon hunter on Amazon Prime. He's in The Toxic Avenger as well. There is a new teaser for The Toxic Avenger, so we do actually see Kevin Bacon's character. It looks like he's the boss of the factory or some sort of establishment where Peter Dinklage's character works,
Yeah,
and he seems like a bad guy. So there we go.
wrongin'.
He's gonna be the wrong, and he's gonna be the number one wrong. So there we go. Lots of things to look forward to.
Yeah, well, I'm looking forward
2025
to Toxic Avenger. Is it August that that's out?
August, I believe. Yeah, but we'll be discussing that as well. We'll get that on the slate
Yeah, I think
without a doubt.
almost guarantee. Maybe we'll have to get John, or I know Sam, who was on with us to discuss the Toxic
Oh
Avenger
yeah.
last time. I'm sure Sam would come in and maybe join us to discuss that
If there's a
because
new
I know
one,
they're all big fans.
definitely. Okay, so that's it for that. What we've been watching. Is there anything you wanted to mention? I've got a few things.
I've got a couple of things, Ben. One, a lovely recap, mostly because a bit of lazy bank holiday watching. Been watching a bit of the old quiz shows on TV. Been watching The Finish Line that features Sarah Green. And so having
Sarah
chatted
Green
about
of
it a little
Ghostwatch
bit,
fame.
yeah. So Karen was like, "I'd like to watch that Ghost Watch."
Oh yeah.
So we sat and had a rewatch of Ghost Watch. I think my thoughts on this have already been shared. I think it's an absolute cracker, but Karen says it holds up as
It
well. Says
holds
this
up.
is really good,
Did you have a little
really,
laugh?
really good.
Did you have a little
Um,
laugh with each other when it was mentioned the glory hole, the little cupboard?
yeah, it was kind of, why do you keep calling it a bloody glory? That's what they were called back then.
That's what they were called back then. And
It
Mr.
wasn't about
Pipes, did you?
noshing off strangers back then. It was
No.
about
No,
it was
exactly.
just about doing your photos under the stairs, being eaten by cats.
Yeah.
Um,
What about did you spot Pipes or Pipe Mr.
yeah, she
Pipes?
caught pipes a few times there.
Yeah.
I think mostly she was a little distracted by how often that Sarah Green just manhandles those children in that
Children, yeah.
house. Like,
I
come
heard
on,
about him.
just
Bit
or
of
the bit where the
inside.
mom goes, "I was so angry, I almost hit her." And I was like,
Oh yeah. Oh, so angry, I almost walloped her. Right of chops. I stop her
yeah,
pretending she's haunted.
forget like it's such a good movie. But the other thing I watched, of course, Ben, I couldn't let the people down without another episode of Friday the 13th, the
You're still
television
going.
series.
You're still going.
Episode
Impressed.
13, unlucky for some. And, well, I don't want to spoil it for you, Ben, but I bet you a steak dinner, Ben. I'm gonna offer you a couple of like choose your own adventure type things that could happen in this episode, which is called The Baron's Bride.
Okay.
Um, it begins where a gentleman is going up to a house where a room is for rent. Meanwhile, Jack, Mickey, and Ryan are also racing there because they know this house is the place where a cursed cloak was. It's in the
Invisibility
inventory.
cloak.
They found this cloak that's there, and there's the gentleman that's going to look at the room to rent in this house. The cloak's in there. The lady's like, "Oh, have a look around, see if you like it." And he sees this cloak and he puts it on. And then she comes and this lady's really into him. She says, "Oh, I've been looking for someone who can wear that cloak. It was my late husband's. I was looking for someone who could take this cloak and then take on the mantle." What do you think the deal with this lady has been? Opportunity one of three for you to win a steak dinner.
Opportunity one of three for me to win escape. Okay. The cloak will reincarnate her dead husband using your body.
I'm afraid not, Ben. She's a vampire, of course.
Ah.
So she's a vampire, and she goes, the first thing that's going to be important, though,
Oh.
is for you to be a vampire. So she immediately bites him. The lads all turn up. Um, they stake her in the back with the for set, room for rent sign and kill her. But
Yeah.
then the guy, is a bit like in this film. That's what I was going to say. It's very well paired with this one. He is then transformed into a vampire. Happens to already be wearing a cloak, though. Do you want to know
Nice.
the power of the cloak?
Um, the power of the cloak, it makes you young. I love
It
that stuff
makes
on
you
this stuff.
irresistible to women. So Mickey is
This is the
unable
same as the
to.
bloody love.
Yeah, she's finding people irresistible left, right, and center. No wonder that didn't work out with the fiance.
Yeah.
But Mickey and Ryan go to wrestle the cloak off him. Mickey is unable to do it herself, so she has to. So Ryan steps in to wrestle it off her. Guess what happens then, Ben? And to be honest, if you get this one right, I'll throw in dessert.
I'm assuming one of the major characters ends up with the cloak on. Oh wait, so Mickey's like, oh, you're irresistible.
You're irresistible to me. I can't stop you. So Ryan dives in there to
Ah.
try and wrestle the cloak off him.
Yeah. So then what happened?
You got no guesses?
No, I want you to tell me.
This is all the opening scene, Ben, I will tell
Oh
you.
no, this isn't the whole thing.
This is the
Bloody
opening
hell.
scene of the thing. So, what happens then, Ben, as you might predict, is they are teleported back in time to the 1800s,
Oh
Victorian
my
London,
God.
And then the rest of the episode is entirely in black and white.
This is insane.
This
Is
is
it believable?
high concept television. Mickey is obsessed with the Vampire Man, and when he takes the cloak off briefly, he
Hmm.
starts turning into horrible Nosferatu, and he's going
Jesus.
around Jack the Ripper in people in Victorian London.
Yeah.
Um, and they meet a friend who helps them
Van
who
Helsing.
helps them. No, funnily you say though, it's a young writer by the name of Abraham who helps them,
Bloody Abraham
aka
Stoker.
Bram Stoker
Oh
himself.
God.
And they help him. He helps them fight this vampire. Mickey is obsessed. She's really into the vampire. She wants to be with him. Bearing in mind, this is just a man who he is a vampire now. So unfortunately, it's too late
Yeah.
for him. But he did just go and try and rent a room. But now he's a Dracula.
I
Um,
just want to rent a bloody room, mate. Can you give me a
uh,
chance?
but now he's a Dracula. In the past,
Yeah.
um, Ryan and Bram Stoker eventually prevail. Bram Stoker goes, oh, they don't know he's Bram Stoker yet. I'm giving you the benefit of knowledge that our heroes didn't have. And they go, no, no, the future's mad. You wouldn't like it. So we better go.
The future's
Um,
mad. Most of us are living underwater. Busted have just released their seventh album. It's outsold Michael Jackson.
Outside evil Michael Jackson, triple-breasted women swim around town totally naked, which I can't decide whether that is progressive
Oh
or
man,
not.
they have
It's
absolutely, they've absolutely, their predictions of 1,000 years in the future are baffling, right?
mad. Um, that aside, they said, look, you wouldn't like it anyway, so we're going to go back to the future now. And they do by just holding the cloak again. They get to go back.
Mm.
They reappear in the apartment with a dead vampire woman saying, oh, we've done it. And Jack's asking all these questions like, what, where were you? They're like, look, we're really tired. Stop asking questions, all right? And then they go back and they say, your mate Abraham, maybe he sent you this. And there's a book there's a copy of Dracula, and they realize
Oh,
that they have inspired the Book of Dracula. But again, Ben, this is high concept television at its best. An entirely black and white episode in a
yeah.
series from
Which episode
1987.
is this?
Episode 12, The Baron's
Of
Bride.
how long is the first series? 20 odd?
The first series
There's
runs
72
to
episodes, so that means
26.
you're well,
I'm
you're
halfway.
not even halfway. Or you will be when you finish 13, right?
I think that was 13. So I'm officially halfway through
Oh
season
yeah, there
one.
we go. Are you gonna do it?
Um,
Are you gonna make it?
yeah. Oh, I tell you what, Ben, the
I
more
do
I
need to pick it back
continue
up.
on
I do that
this,
every week.
the more I continue on this series, which is better than the X-Files. Not Ryan Coogler's version, maybe he'll be able to top it, but right now, more enjoyable. Just time after time, absolute belters. I might go on the back here, and I don't want to do it until I'm ready, Ben. I need to be able to be knowledgeable enough to
Yeah.
command a real conversation with him. I might try and get onto some of the cast, see if I can get him on for an interview.
Oh man, can you imagine that?
If anyone is listening to this
Oh,
and this is your favorite section of the program, please tweet and Instagram those folks saying you've got a big fan here. You guys need to come on
I
this.
want you to make it your mastermind specialist subject.
All right, Clive, my specialist
That'd be
subject
bloody
this
loads,
week
though,
will
wouldn't it?
be the 1987 to 1990 television series Friday the 13th brackets the series.
And you'd think that's not many years. Oh wait, 72 episodes.
And
Bloody hell.
then, and then Clive will ask, how many times did Jason Voorhees appear in this series? Zero.
Funny you should ask, son. It's a big fat frickin' zero.
Um, yeah, what an absolute belter of a time I'm having with this series. It cheers me up week on week. But yeah, more of that next time. But that was it, actually, Ben. How about you? What have you been watching?
Yeah, so I've got a few things. I saw The Last of Us series 2. I've seen the first
Ooh,
two episodes. The second episode of which includes a very big plot point that took place in the second game that split a lot of people's opinions of that game. And yeah, I mean, it's very impactful in this second episode. Very, very impactful, very intense, very traumatic. I feel like the way it pans out in the game is slightly better because I feel like in this episode they kind of like try and split the narrative into two different directions. There's like an attack on the main camp, and then there's this particular incident as well. But yeah, I mean, performances are out of this world in this, and it really, really intrigues me to what they're going to do with it next. Because there are loads of moments where you go, "That's exactly the same as the show, as the game." Sorry, exactly the same, exactly almost the same place. How have they found a house that looks exactly the same as this particular place? And obviously, yeah, I know they've built it, but my God, some of the things that they do differently are also cool. So I'm very interested to see where
Looking
it's going to
forward
go.
to looking forward to watching it. This is me who hasn't got round to playing the games, so looking forward
Oh
to
yeah,
getting
but I'm
on
sure you
this and
know
watching
about a lot of
series
what
two.
what what happens,
Oh
but
yeah,
still.
and like I mean, let's just say going into this controversial plot point and the plot point that people are going to be thinking about this, I ate craft into it's boring, isn't it? So, um,
Uh, what I will say, I'm glad they've stuck to their guns and stuck to it because they could have easily gone, "We're not going to do this thing," because it obviously changes a lot. But they've stuck to it in the TV show and said, "We're gonna continue to recreate the story of the games until I guess we run out of run out of content because they've confirmed series 3 as well, and there's no third game, so whether they're going to stretch the narrative of the second game over
that's
2
what I've heard.
series."
I've heard that apparently they taking the story of the second game through seasons two and
Yeah,
three, by which time people will have driven enough trucks of money to Naughty Dog's headquarters that they will make a third
exactly.
game.
Yeah, and you know what? Maybe we never know. I know they're working on a new game, Naughty Dog, but you never know. They might suddenly go, "Oh, here's a trailer for the new game as well." So, and then they've been working in conjunction with the TV show so that the narratives match. Who knows? Who bloody knows? But yeah, looking forward to it anyway.
Yeah,
Um,
looking forward to getting stuck in on that.
I also
Obviously,
what?
not as much as the series that I will
Yeah,
balance it with my ongoing work
yeah.
on Friday the 13th.
I also watched The Woman in the Yard, which was recently in cinemas, but I did manage to watch it now. It's on available on digital. Another really well made sort of film with a lot of with some really creepy visuals, some great performances, some great editing. But again, I feel like it just slips into that Blumhouse trauma metaphor
I'll say,
territory
was it trauma?
by the end, but it approaches it in a slightly different way, perhaps. Like some of the editing is really good. They do a lot of stuff with shadows and mirrors as well, which is great. But yeah, maybe it just drops into generic territory by the time it ends. And I was like, oh, I kind of liked it. It was going in an interesting way. A lot of people online have kind of been saying, oh, it's kind of similar to the Babadook in a way. Don't entirely know if I agree with that, but it gets under your
Babduck
skin.
was in the house.
It gets under your skin. The Babadook was in the house this whole time. It gets under your skin, and then it's Danielle Deadwyler is the lead, and she's on I sort of TV Glow, and I've seen her in things like Carry On and The Harder They Fall. She's great. She's great, and she is a good kind of like single mother trying to protect her children. But yeah, it's an interesting. I think of all of the like generic trauma metaphor Blumhouse-ish movies, this is probably one of the strongest ones, I would say.
Yeah,
Um,
that's
and
very
it,
good. And congratulations to you for seeing that, Ben. Congratulations to
thanks.
people that made Woman in the Yard. Congratulations to me for when you said that she was in a film called Carry On, not immediately going, Carry On what? And doing a big Kenneth Williams.
She was on that film called Carry On,
Carry On Babadook. Oh, right,
Carry On
yeah.
in the Yard, woman, matron. Should we do Carry On Screaming one day?
Yes.
I mean, I probably haven't seen that since I was a kid. Has it aged badly? Are there a lot of inappropriate? Is there a lot of the old internalized misogyny?
Yeah, old Barbara Windsor probably like her bra pinging
I
off
bet the
because she screams so loud at
I bet the word
something.
Norks gets used.
Yeah, I can imagine so. Sid James will
Fingers
be
crossed.
cackling away.
Sid James, man who's always copping off with women who are like in their 20s, and he's definitely about. He looks about 80 years old, but maybe he had a tough.
Even
People had a
then.
tough paper round back then, didn't they?
Yeah, they did. 8 miles
Smoke,
in the snow
smoking
daily.
80 a day. And I also watched something you've seen, Andy. I watched the old horror anthology Holidays on Shudder.
Oh, you got around to it and you
The
saw
one you told,
horrible rabbit Jesus.
the one you told me about, obviously with different holiday, and it was because it was Easter. We're trying to find something that was topical, I guess, to watch on Easter horror. Obviously, only one segment of this film is based on Easter, but there's a horrible humanoid Easter Bunny Jesus
Because
with
now you've seen me. That's you've got to be Easter
now
Jesus
you've
now.
seen me, you got to be me. All right?
What?
Excuse me? Can I say goodbye to my mum?
No.
No. It is
There's nobody time.
some of them are good. Like I liked Valentine's Day. I like
Valentine's Day is really good.
I like Mother's Day. Mother's Day was good as well. Don't you remember
What's
that?
Mother's Day now?
Pregnant girl who's woman who's like constantly getting pregnant no matter what. She goes anywhere near a penis and she's up the duff. And
Don't
then
remember that one.
this kind of like cult decide that she's like some sort of gateway. There's
Oh
that
yes,
one.
now I know.
Father's Day was really innocent until the end. The end, I was like, is that it? Don't even remember that. Girl finds a tape and it's like her dad explaining why he went away.
Oh, why did he go away, Ben?
I don't even bloody know.
Oh,
Don't
did
want
he
to
get?
spoil it.
Did he
But
go away with space aliens?
that's what I thought it was gonna be, and it definitely wasn't that. I thought it was gonna be space aliens. In the end, it was like generic scary face man.
It was a scary face man.
Ah, I
Come
was
off
like,
with me,
this is
mate.
aliens. This is alien. He's gone away with aliens. No, no, no. And it might have been aliens, but I don't even know.
Um,
St. Patrick's Day was mad. Woman impregnated with a snake.
yeah.
But unfortunately, the only one that was a total dud was the Kevin Smith segment, the Halloween Kevin Smith segment, which was like, had nothing to do with Halloween. It was kind of like these cam girls taking revenge on this guy by
Oh,
sticking a
I
vibrator
forgot
up
that was in Holidays one. I thought that was a VHS thing.
his arse. It was the only one where I was like, this is shit. This
It
is not.
happens on they shove the camera up his
It
ass on
happens
Halloween
on
though, right?
Halloween, but honestly, the rest of them, at least there's something. It's got something going on which makes it feel like it's relevant to those particular holidays. The Halloween section, unfortunately, you know, probably the easiest one to do, isn't it? Out of all of them,
Is there a New
and
Year's Day? Does it
there's a
finish on?
Christmas one. There's a New Year's Day one as well. The Christmas one is with Seth Green. The New Year's Day one is like a killer, and he goes
Oh,
for a
it's
date.
Seth Green being like a shit dad, and he needs to get. It's
Yeah,
the
they were
he
perfect.
gets.
They were
It's
perfectly
like a
fine.
horror click, isn't it?
Yeah,
And he
exactly.
gets
Because you've
his a
got
little
the
VR
little VR headset
headset
thing.
so he
Yeah,
can maz
it's
off.
it's on so you can maz off. It's on Shudder right now. So if this sounds up your street, go and check it out. I think in terms of horror anthologies, I was pretty much into it, like for the duration. So
It's
I
really
rated
good.
this quite highly,
And the
especially
Easter one is a belter.
the Easter one's horrific. Like that is, I'm surprised that hasn't become like a fully fledged feature length film because old old skin. Oh bloody! Oh, how would you describe
Skin
him?
Rabbit Jesus.
Skin rabbit Jesus with like chicks that come out of holes in his hands. He's got so much visual. It's literally like every single visual for Easter has just been chucked into a blender, and out comes this horrible flesh man. Well, he got a crown of thorns on as well.
Yeah. Basically, he is just like Rabbit Jesus, right?
Yeah, and some good kid
No.
acting. Is that the little
Yeah.
girl in that film? Like she in that short, I believe that she's terrified. You know
Yeah.
that doesn't
Can
always
I
happen.
say goodbye to my mum? Absolutely not.
Can I say goodbye to my mum? No. Grow up.
Because then she'll have seen me.
And she'll have to be one as well, yeah. But I recommend it. Go and check it out. Especially if you like anthologies, because I think anthologies, hit or miss. And I think for this one, most of it is a hit, I would say.
If you were making a short horror movie about don't pick one of the main ones, but a lesser known holiday, then what
Pancake
would you
Day.
make yours about? Pancake Day.
Pancake Day. And it would be about, I mean, I'll have to network it a little bit, but maybe like the ingredients of pancakes getting put
Coming
into
to
your
life in the pan.
Yeah, into your skin, lemon juice in your wounds, sugar, I don't know. Or maybe people getting turned into literal pancakes, splat, and then cooked and kit, or who knows.
Yeah.
Shrove Tuesday.
Or
There's
just
bound to
getting a
be like
big
some sort of,
bonk on the head with the
you love a good
pan.
bonk on the head. Bound to be some folk horror stuff you can do with like what Shrove Tuesday is actually about, right?
Yeah.
And Ash Wednesday. Let's work it out.
Yeah.
But that was it.
That's good. Yeah.
That was it for me. Apart from
Grand. Film of the week.
film of the week, which is obviously quite literally film of the week, is what everyone's talking about. It's only been out in cinemas a few days, so we're striking while iron is hot, and that is Sinners, which is a 2025 American period action horror film written and directed by Ryan Coogler. Set in 1932 in the Mississippi Delta, it stars Michael B. Jordan in a dual role as twin brothers who return to their hometown to start again, only to be confronted by a supernatural evil. The film also stars Hailee Steinfeld, Miles Caton, Jack O'Connell, Wunmi Mosaku, Jayme Lawson, Omar Miller. I'm going to read everyone because it's an ensemble.
Yeah.
Legion Lee, Buddy Guy, and Delroy Lindo. And Delroy Lindo is, for me, the MVP of this film. And I have been, he's in tons of things, but like ever since The Five Bloods, the Spike Lee war drama, which came out in, I want to say 2020, I've been like, he's one of my favorite actors working today. And this is the first thing he's been in since the film I just mentioned, the Western, The Harder They Fall. So it's been a few years since we've seen Delroy Lindo. Um, I would absolutely always check him out. And Andy, he's also in Congo. He's Captain Wanta,
Nice.
uncredited in Congo.
You know who he is in Congo.
God, Sesame.
Pretend to be in a piece of sesame cake, Ben.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Stop
You
eating my sesame
I'm
cake.
eating my sesame cake. Exactly. He is. Um,
Delroy,
have you
yes.
have you seen The Five Bloods?
I've not seen the Five Bloods.
You got to go and watch The Five Bloods. He is
I will
like
add it to my watch
he
list
is
as we speak.
he is the man in that film. And it's got loads of great actors in it. But he is outstanding in that. And of course he's in a lot of other major roles in sort of I think he's been like a character actor for years, but now he's finally starting to come into his own. I mean, even this is like it is a character actor role, but
Oh,
he always tends to pop up, and he's always popped up and stuff. And I've always gone, "Who's that guy?" Because he's in things like The One, The Core, Domino, Sahara, The
and of
Devil's
course
Advocate,
he's the
Get
policeman.
Shorty. Yeah,
He's the
he's like,
policeman in that film when Gary Sinise robs off with Mel Gibson's
yeah,
son, Ransom.
yeah, exactly. So he's like one of those. No, I would say like 90s, early 2000s character actors who just when he pops up, you go, oh yeah, I like that guy. But now I feel like he's getting plaudits for stuff. I think he got. I'm not sure what awards he won for The Five Bloods. I feel like he's won some decent awards for that. But in this, as soon as he turned up, I was like, hell yeah. Um, So that's the cast, and it's a stacked cast. We've got Michael B. Jordan in dual roles. Weird, because so far this year we've had a few major dual roles, haven't we? We've had Mickey 17, Robert Pattinson, playing two or more roles, 17 roles essentially, but mainly two, which has been interesting. I feel like there's been something else as well of dual roles. Anything else?
Of course, Eddie Murphy as the entire Clumps family.
Yeah, the Parent
Um,
Trap with Lindsay Lohan. I bet a lot of people
yeah.
thought they were actually twins rather than two Lindsay Lohans, right?
Um, the um, the little boy
In
in the
Friends, Big
monkey.
Daddy, the little boy. Yeah, 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 yeah. Oh wait, this is it. The Yeah, so that's just one actor, isn't it? The guy from
Yeah.
the Monkey. So yeah, we have had. That was the other one I was thinking of. I think Theo James. So we have had like three major releases, um, all with like dual roles played by certain actors. So it's cool. It's cool. I
Can
don't
you
know. So for the
imagine?
the trailer for
This is
this
the
film,
opposite. Back in the day where you would use real twins to be one person, like Linda
yeah,
Hamilton and her sister
yeah.
being in Terminator 2.
Yeah, and they
Now,
did it more than
it's done
once
one
in
twice.
Terminator 2, didn't they? Did it for that police officer as
Oh
well.
yeah, the man
Yeah,
that
yeah,
gets
yeah,
coffee cupped.
yeah. Man, he gets coffee cupped. But now, I mean, it is one of those things where obviously the technology has come so far that you're like, it's seamless now. There's absolutely no way that you could go, how are they doing that? I mean, I do still wonder that, but I know that the technology's come far enough. Um, and also like someone like Miles Caton who plays the young fella in this film, Sammy, Preacher Boy Moore, his first role in cinema, and
Wow.
apparently he learned guitar for this role in like 3 months. Come on now.
If it's
I
his job though, come on.
yeah, yeah, that's true. If it's your job, I guess so.
It's
But
like
sometimes it just wouldn't
when you
go
see
down, would it?
people absolutely stacked in a Marvel movie, and it's like very impressive. I don't want to take that away, but if it is your job, and
Yeah.
someone's gonna come and wake you up in the morning and do some exercises with you, and then say, right, eat exactly this food
Eat
and
exactly
inject
this
this
food.
human growth
Oh, can I have a
hormone.
pepperami? No.
No.
I know what you mean. It's true.
But
Um,
very impressive because obviously, like, it is his first role, so I'm not taking the piss out of that actually. Like, it's very, very cool. He'd learned to play that guitar
yeah.
for
Also,
for that.
Jack O'Connell is the villain of the piece. Never forgive him for Eden Lake. I never will. I can't even
Is
look
he
at
the
this.
wee boy in Eden
Does
Lake?
this mean he's a good actor? I don't care. I hate him. I absolutely hate him. When he turns up in anything, I go, "Oh, I hate you." He also
You
plays,
killed
so he's in
Michael
the.
Fassbender.
What was that?
You killed Michael
You.
Fassbender.
What did Michael Fassbender ever do to you? He's just trying to have a nice getaway at a lovely old lake, the Eden Lake. Um, yeah, whew, it is like he's good in this role to the point where I kind of forget it's him, which kind of helps. No offense, I've explained why I dislike you. Sorry, Jack O'Connell. Um, but yeah, and I guess like the way they kind of introduce like Irish folklore and Irish kind of like talking about ancestry, because obviously they talk about ancestry a lot for all of the black characters in this film, but it's very interesting when we get that side of the Irish ancestry with him. And I don't really know what the connection could be to vampirism. There might be some sort of connection in folklore with that and the Irish, the luck of the Irish. But it was
Well, you
fascinating,
see,
like the way
Ben,
the
it's because
music
the
kind of like,
quintessential vampire film, Vampire Stories, of course, was Bram Stoker, an Irish author who actually encountered a vampire for the first time when
yeah,
two antique dealers from
yeah,
contemporary America traveled back in time
yeah.
and they fought a vampire together.
That's it.
That's
There we
how the
go.
connection was
That's the
made.
connection. There we go. It's as
Perfect
easy as
week.
that sometimes. But obviously, yeah, there's a connection. The music is something that runs through it as well. Um, in terms of like black culture, we've kind of got this connection through the character of Sammy, the preacher boy, of how good he is at guitar. And I think there's like a crawl at the start which sort of says sometimes people are so bloody good at guitar that their music can like connect to
Past and future
past and
generations,
future
but
generations. But
does attract baddies as well.
sometimes it conjures evil as well, which I'm like, why? Why does it bloody do that? That's not fair.
Because they like it.
Yeah, because they like it. So
Because they like music.
that's interesting as
Rock
well.
and
So
roll
yeah,
music, especially. You know, the devil's like with that.
yeah, Devil's always getting involved with that. He loves it. Um, so yeah, we got Michael B. Jordan as the dual characters of Smoke and Stack, Elijah and Elias. They're twin brothers. You got Hailee Steinfeld as Mary, so she's like an ex-flame of Smoke? No, Stack. So this is why I was confused, right? I was telling these two dudes apart for ages by their hats. I
And
was
then when it
like,
comes nighttime and they get changed,
when it comes nighttime, when I get changed, take their bloody hats off. I was like, well, which one's which now? I don't know. Because there was even a line which Mary said that confused me. So at one point, I thought she was copping off with the other brother, when in fact she was copping off with the brother that she'd had history with.
yeah.
But yeah, so you got Hailee Steinfeld as Mary, Miles Caton as Sammy Preacher Boy, Jack O'Connell is Remick, and then essentially you've got like it is an ensemble cast because a supporting cast of everybody who attends this kind of club that the twins put together after returning to Mississippi Delta after years in Chicago working for. Do you remember?
Working for Al Capone.
Working for Al Capone, exactly. Yeah. What's he like then? What's his like? What's it like getting a day off when Al Capone's your boss? What have you got something on? What have you got a dentist appointment? Is he all right with it? What's the annual leave situation like?
Yeah. Well, what's the, yeah, what are the benefits?
What are the benefits? So yeah, they essentially they start this club for a night, and then this everybody that they everybody from their past luckily ain't got anything on that night, so they come and hire everybody. So you got like a guy to work the door, a guy to do the music, people to do the food and the drink. But everyone, it isn't just like random characters; they're all connected to these twins in some way from their past, and the way that these relationships are kind of established, and the screen time that all these characters are given, the dialogue, and I don't know, I feel like it really fleshes out the world really great. Like for example, I'm going to compare this to something you might not expect me to compare it to, but I'm going to compare it to Army of the Dead. Do you
Mhm.
remember at the start of that film they go, "Hey, we got some history together. I'm gonna get the boys back, and we're gonna go on a major mission into Vegas against all the zombies." And essentially, it just introduces like I don't know, 8 characters, like bang, 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 bang,
One after another,
one after
almost doing
another.
like a screen wipe in between. Like,
Yeah,
you know,
you
Zack
don't.
Snyder's face comes up like the Optimus Prime logo, like
Yeah,
do 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 do
yeah.
every time.
It's done. It's so rushed, and I feel like this film. I don't know. The running time might be something to. It's a reason for it.
Hang on,
It's
Army of the
it's
Dead's pretty
so
long.
long. What was that?
Army of the Dead's pretty long.
Yeah, yeah, that's true. That's true. But this film
Hang on,
just
I'm going to
has
check this. I
so
reckon
much
it's probably
time
longer.
establishing all these characters, the history, and not everyone's got the same history with these twins. You know, they all like some of them are like maybe a bit wary of them, a bit scared. Like, where have you been? What have you been doing? Other people happy to see them. Other people not so happy to see them. It's a really colorful cast and a very like diverse cast of characters in terms of like everything they bring to the table. Um, Yeah, and I really liked it, you know, and that was why when it
Yeah.
comes to a point where you start, and again, spoilers, when you start losing some of these characters, it was really like impactful, I
It's
guess.
extra horrific. And like, you know, genuinely there is a scene earlier with we get a taste of the vampires early, but things don't really start going south until you've passed the hour mark.
Yeah,
Obviously, I wasn't didn't have a stopwatch on in the cinema, but
and I guess that is where,
it's a
sorry,
while.
is a while, yeah, and that's where the comparisons to something from Dusk Till Dawn come from. Mainly because, you know, that starts off as one genre, well, a crime thriller, and then becomes like a vampire monster movie, B movie, action movie, about probably about a halfway mark. Whereas this film, I guess, starts off as just a period drama, you know. Cr I guess there are some crime elements to it. These two
I would
guys
have
who
watched
work for
this
Albert
film
Stein.
if there was no vampires in it. Not maybe not for the Horror Hangout podcast, obviously,
Yeah.
but I would have like it's one of those things where you see them putting this together, you're watching it, you think, I just hope this goes really well. I hope
Yeah.
it's a big success, and it's a film about how two brothers started a new business, and
Hmm.
it was fine.
And it was fine. But then again, like obviously there are things about like the clan, the Ku Klux Klan, and being sort of prevalent in this area of the world at this particular time as well. And that even comes back into it a little bit later. It could have easily just been a film based on that, you know, almost like
Yeah.
oh, it is almost like a film like a John Carpenter. Well, what's it called? The Assault on Precinct 30. Is that what I'm thinking of?
Assault on
Yeah,
Precinct 13.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
What kind of film am I thinking of when I say that? It's like a siege film.
Yeah,
Is that
like
the
a
right
siege
word?
film, or like, you know, almost like a I can only think of the terminology when it's television, like when you get a bottle episode, like a one location um kind of
Yeah,
drama. It escalates over it. But yeah, the care and attention taken with these characters, I would have just watched this as a character piece, even without the action element and the tensions with like the clan wanting to stop these guys being successful. You know,
yeah,
just the thing with the relationships of people who've gone away and got like a criminal past and they're coming back to try and reinvent themselves in, you know, in their old hometown and picking up the relationships and what that means. Like there was so much depth of character and thought there. Like I can only imagine that Ryan Coogler's notes here are so extensive with such a background and all these characters, so much that we saw on screen and so much that we didn't. This is a coffee table book waiting to have. What we need to do, Ben, is really hope that your friend and mine, Janine Pike,
she really
really
likes
likes
this
this
film,
film,
becomes a big
and
fan.
then gets on to making us a big book full of additional material that
Oh
we
yeah.
can get stuck into.
It reminded me a little bit at times of like Red Dead Redemption as well. Not just because, well, obviously Red Dead Redemption takes place a little bit earlier than 1932, but just like a period piece where all the characters, and even there's loads of them, you know, like in Red Dead Redemption 1 and 2, there's so many characters that you kind of like do missions for and, you know, spend a lot of time with. And it just felt like I cared about everybody almost equally. And even when you start doing missions and you're like, oh no, I don't want to do that. If this person ain't gonna be happy, I kind of felt like that with this film, where it established all of these characters in a way that you do get to a point where you go, I don't want anything bad to happen to these people. I've only spent an hour or
Yeah.
so with them, but I want everything to go well. I want them to open this club, it to be an absolute hit, and that's it.
Like, don't get me wrong, I get it. Maybe they they underorder on the catfish, and some people are disappointed. I don't want a lack of trauma. I don't want a lack of stakes in my film. Oh, maybe there'll be a worry. Will they pass the health inspection? Ultimately, fine.
Yeah.
Um,
I
just
forgot.
to
I got.
confirm the point you made early, Ben. The depth of time we see you getting ready with these characters versus you gave the example of Army of the Dead. I know what the run times are now. Army of the Dead is 10 minutes longer than
Oh
this.
God. Well, there we go. Like, and the comparison I was making was simply, here's a film that does it bad. Here's a film that does it good. You know, that's kind of what I
Yeah.
wanted to establish there. Like, they were supposed to be like a crew, weren't they? Like in the Army of the Dead, like all with history. And I just didn't really, it didn't really work for me. Um, so in terms of scores, we've got 8.2 on IMDb. Rotten Tomatoes scores for Sinners, Andy. Listen to this: 98% audience score,
Ooh,
97% critic score. They're bloody loving it,
that's
aren't they?
high numbers, high
Absolutely
bars.
bloody loving it. Um, Letterbox 4.3 out of 5. Got some choice reviews here. Lauren says this fucking rocked, literally. An unexpected blend of genres to create a story filled with so much heart, lore, and insanity. 4 stars. David Delrich says a bloody muscular barrel house of a vampire movie that throbs like the neck of a blues guitar on fire. 4 stars. Brett Arnold says nobody's ready for how much talk there is about eating pussy in this movie.
That's true.
Three
I
and a
certainly
half
wasn't ready.
stars. That is true. And someone 2 seats down from me laughed every time, and I thought, grow up, mate.
Now, let's just be fair. There's a lot of talk about sucking dick in this film as well.
Is there? That's one thing I
Yeah.
don't know how much there was. And then finally, Hailee says, if Hailee Steinfeld drooled into my mouth like that, I would also want to spend eternity at her feet. 3.5 stars. So yes, Hailee Steinfeld does drool into somebody's mouth as well, which is lovely, I would say, which is bloody lovely. Although I do always feel a little bit odd about Hailee Steinfeld, mainly because she's 28 years old. She's a grown ass woman, but she was in that film True Grit, wasn't she? Where she's just a kid, and I don't know, I don't know why, but my brain cannot shift from
People,
that to that.
people, I think it's one of those things, isn't it? That like I don't know if there's actually a real name for it, but particularly when you get someone who is famous, they tend to stay at the age that you first knew them for.
Yeah,
It's like Macaulay Culkin being,
yeah,
still thinking of him as a little kid. He is a couple of years older than me.
yeah.
Like
It
he
is
is,
weird. It is
like
really
he
weird.
is a
Well, like the
married
kid
man.
from
The same as uh
Sixth Sense.
yeah,
I saw
Haley
some
Joel
recently. I
Osment.
think he got arrested for something. I was like, "What are you doing? You're just a little fella. Give it a
Yeah,
rest,
it's
will
like,
you?"
let him off. Just cheeky Chaffee. Yeah, it's the same as we saw comedian Greg Davies the other day, and someone was like, "Hey, how's what's his name?" And it's like he's fine. He's a 40-year-old man now. He's got 2 kids.
What, talking about his son or
From
something? Or
the
like,
like, no shouting about Simon. Is it
oh, for the
Simon
in-betweeners.
from the Inbetweeners? Yeah, that he's
Yeah.
40 years old.
He's 40 bloody years old now. Yeah. So that is it. It feels a bit weird. I almost have to kind of think that's just a different person in my head. Um,
Yeah,
so so yeah, obviously we've done a little bit of a rundown of the cast. And obviously is a bit of an ensemble, so we'll mention each character as they're introduced. But yeah, so 1932, they return to to the Mississippi Delta, and they've got money that they stole from some gangsters, and they use it to purchase a sawmill from a landowner called Hogwood, to start a juke joint for the local black community. So a juke joint is like a music venue with dancing, gambling, drinking. I think it was primarily operated by African Americans in like the southeast United States. It may also be called a barrel house, as it was mentioned in that review just now. Um, so yeah, it's one of those things where it's supposed to be like a place that that people from that particular area of the community can sort of all come together and just enjoy. all the stuff that they like without feeling the need from anyone like Hogwood. It says here racist landowner, but I think initially is it suggested that he might be racist in any way?
I
Doesn't he
think
say?
they know because obviously this is their hometown, so they know
Yeah.
what people are like. So they immediately are suspicious of him, and
Mm.
I think some of the terminology he uses,
Yeah.
um, to begin with, referring to people as boy and so on,
Oh yeah, of course
are
he does. Yeah, yeah. I really like. I wonder how they shot this scene because I really like the the way that it's framed and Elijah. So Smoke and Stack, the way they kind of like one stands in front of him, the other one stands behind him, almost in a threatening way. But then there's no real like. There's a few like flashing of the old gun and that they've got in their waistbands or their um or whatever.
yeah, and
But
they kind of say as they complete the transaction, "Oh no, we've got money and we'll buy this from you." But I don't really see you or any of your clan buddies here because we will shoot you dead. It's like, oh, there's no such thing as the clan here
there's no
anymore.
bloody clan anymore. 1932, but things have moved on. So something like that, and they, along the lines. I think anyone's believing it at any point. Um, we also get a little bit of an introduction to Sammy. So he is like cotton picking. He's working on like the farm like that, but then he seems like he's got his quota early in the morning because what he likes to do is go get up at the crack of crack of dawn's arse and go and get his quota finished, then go and like focus on things like his music and working at the church
And
or
his,
spending time at the
they
church with his
call him
pastor father.
preacher, the preacher's son, yeah, because he is the preacher at the church is his dad. He's like, don't be doing music all the time, right?
Don't be doing music, it's the bloody devil's work. And he's like, well, I'm only playing a bit of AC/DC, aren't I? Come on, everyone knows a bit of that. He's not. He's doing some lovely blues, rock and roll.
Yeah.
He's got a guitar as well that was given to him by Smoke and Stack before. So they've been away for 7 years. So them returning, like obviously tons and tons has changed, but obviously a lot of people have spent those years kind of doing the same sort of things while they were gone.
Yeah.
But Sammy is building up a bit of a reputation as being the next big thing in blues music, I guess, isn't he? I think Pastor Father says the blues music is supernatural. I'd be like, is it? Good. I'm going to carry on doing a lovely bit of blues then.
Yeah. And like, yeah, he wants him to, yeah, I think when he says he's going off, he said, look, I'll be here to do my church duties tomorrow for Sunday, but I want a day where I'm not working, because they are still like working class people. I think, when you think of, and I'm not a historian, Ben. I've never claimed to be one, but obviously this is a time when slavery has been abolished the in the US. It had been abolished what about 1860s. So
Mm.
this would have been, some years after that, that will still be in living memory from lots of the older people in those communities. But
Mm.
there is still a huge disparity of wealth. The people who are still working on those plantations,
Yeah.
as workers, no longer enslaved people, but there still will be a huge difference between the people who are working in those areas and the people, and obviously still um, segregation of communities and so on
Oh,
massively.
yeah. Yeah. And I guess that would be what, two guys turning up with a lot of money as well is gonna raise a lot of eyebrows with the white community in these particular places as well, especially purchasing land or purchasing property
Mhm.
from them as well. And we do find out a little bit later on that no, it isn't always straightforward as it potentially seems at this particular stage. But the twins, Smoke and Stat, they go off on two different directions.
It's the only
Smoke,
way they're going to get all the jobs done.
yeah, but they do even say at one point, "Are we sure we want to open up tonight? Why don't we do it next week when we got everything in it?" It's literally like, "No, we're back today. We're gonna hire. Hopefully, we're gonna hire everybody that we need." So yeah, like Smoke goes off to like go and talk to the people in the town and think about getting like food and booze and all that stuff. And I think Stack is he goes off to first of all meet up with Sammy, the preacher boy, and then to hire some more people for entertainment, I guess. And
Yeah.
it's a real like it could be pretty boring. This could it could be right. We need to hire everybody, but no, it's a great sort of like conveyor belt of interesting characters and it coming through.
Yeah, so who do we meet first?
So the twit.
Is
So
it the sign, is it the when they're looking for the food and getting the sign painted, and we see like how ruthless. Now, is this Smoke or Stack that does this bit where he
So
shoots
this is
these fellas?
Smoke. So this is Smoke. This is that's right, isn't it? So Smoke, again, easy way to describe it. Smoke is the one whose wife is Annie, and Stack is the one who's copping off of Hailee Steinfeld. As
Okay.
I said, it was difficult because initially, like from the trailer, it made it look like there was going to be an evil brother and a good brother. Now I know that the story takes it in different directions, and maybe that is how it works out, but that's kind of how the trailer kind of showed it. The first trailer, at least. Um, but yeah, so Smoke goes off. He goes to the town. He goes and meets the Asian couple. Again, he's got history of everybody. They all remember him. They've all like had dealings with in the past. Some of them have been really close with these twins as well. But yeah, they hire Grace and Bo as suppliers, and so they're shopkeepers, but they hire them as like suppliers for booze and stuff. And I think like Grace is going to come and work at the bar. Bo's going to come along, and everyone's just on for it, mainly
Yeah.
because Smoke and Stack have got a ton of the old a ton of the old cheddar.
And I think they also show a bit of versatility in the character because when he first parks up, he goes, right, thieves bloody everywhere.
Yeah,
So and it shows like he is, I guess it's kind of this gang, like it's probably the influence they've had from working for
yeah.
organized crime and so on.
He's got to have like a ruthless streak to him, hasn't he? I guess.
But at the same time, like that ties with the community because he meets that little girl and says, right, if anyone tries to be robbing my car, you beat the horn. And then
And
when he's in the shop, he hears the horn going. He goes out,
oh, for
sees
God's
these
sake.
fellas, walks up, shoots a fellow in the ass,
Shoots one of them in the arse, yeah, and then they both know him, which is
and they
like,
say, "Oh, oh, I didn't think it was you." So the little girl's like, "I told him it was your car." He goes, "Oh, I didn't
yeah, yeah.
believe her." He goes, oh,
Well, I
"Fuck's sake!"
didn't
And then,
think, yeah, yeah, I didn't think it was you. So, but he shoots the other one in the
yeah,
leg to kind of make a point, I guess, and
kneecaps him for.
kneecaps him, gives him
Well,
some money.
You can't be telling people that you almost got away with robbing me. People have to know
Yeah, that's
this.
true.
But then he goes back inside and says, "Here's 20 quid to pay
Here's
for
20 bob. Sort him out with you. So
buy a
yeah,
couple of health packs."
yeah, a couple of health packs. We'll stick with Smoke for now, just to make it a little bit easier. But he also goes to find his estranged wife Annie. They've obviously had a loss, like there's a grave for I guess what is a baby outside. So they've obviously it seems like that might have been what made him leave to go to Chicago was when they lost a child. Their relationship was probably fractured, and Stack may have been like, let's just go to Chicago and see if we can make a new life for ourselves. So they did. Again,
But
it's
unlike
great
Robert
because
Carlyle and his wife in 28 Weeks Later, who don't want to see him again,
yeah,
she's pretty much on for it.
she's well up for seeing him again. Again, she's got like different types of medicines and almost like just alternative medicines, I guess, isn't it? Because she talks about he's been wearing something around his neck. What is that thing like to essentially like protect him as well? She's got like belief in
I'm
the
gonna say an
occult.
amulet. Yeah.
She's got like belief in the occult and alternative medicine and various
Yeah.
stuff like that.
And when you see her, your film watching brain goes, you're gonna know about vampires later.
You're gonna know about vampires later, yeah. And she's a great actress. I've seen her in a few things as well. So she's in that movie His House, about
Oh, I
the
never got round
African
to seeing his
immigrants in
house.
the UK. Yeah, yeah. So she's played by Wunmi Mosaku, and she's also in I think it's Loki. I think she's in the Loki series. She's one of
Is
the
she now?
yeah, yeah. She's one of the people who works for the
Oh, in the
company.
TVA, that
Yeah, that's
lady
it.
who.
TVA.
Oh
She's one of the
my goodness.
yeah. She's good in that as well. Um, but yeah. So essentially, she's really good at catering. She's really good at catering. She is. Can you do a bit of dinner for me tonight at this Duke joint? And again, I like this because you could have easily started up a club in a sawmill, as a Duke joint for the community and gone just get a load of booze in. But no, he's getting someone in to do food, and I'm not talking just like crispy fries, scampi fries, and bacon crispies. We're talking
No.
big, big old pots of lovely grub. Where do you stand on a scampi fry?
Um, Moderate.
It's not really for me, fishy
Not
crisps.
against one.
Not against one. But
What I
before we,
will take is when you want the premium bar snack is you want tiger nuts, don't you? Those
oh
coated
yeah,
peanuts.
oh yeah, hell yeah, absolutely. I'm,
And
I'm,
then or get a big bag of McCoys and open them in the way that you only open crisps at a pub. When you turn your crisp packet into like a little picnic blanket, a
Yeah,
silver
but
picnic blanket for your table,
that
sharing.
immediately invites sharing, and you don't get many crisps. I'm not always into it. Also, Smoke when Annie says, "Yeah, I'll do a bit of cooking for you." Smoke also gives her a bit of the old loving,
Hevo.
and a bit of the old what?
The old Hevo.
The old you're trying to word it without trying to. The things I'm thinking of saying now is trying to link the fact that she's a cook to the fact that he's given her a Roger in. He's gone. Remember to bring the pork sausages, and she's gone. Yeah,
It's like Carry On again,
I'll
all
tell
like
you I'll tell you who else loves a pork in. Yeah, and they shag away from the food. They get it on away from the
Yeah.
food. Because
So you've
sometimes
only got a 3-star hygiene rating. I mean, it's fine, it's a pass. Well, one of my areas for improvement was no absolutely raw dogging
no
next
raw
to
dog in
uncooked
it
meats.
next to the dinner. You know what? Each to their own. I'm not dead against that.
Well, this
Also,
broth's a bit brackish. What's going on with that?
oh God, it's ever so salty. Uh, he hires Cornbread, who works as his bouncer. So again, this guy seems to have like moved on with his life. He's working the field as well, but he's with his wife, and then his wife says how much you're paying, and when
Yeah,
he
this is the one where I told you it's also a lot of chat about fellatio when he's like, "Here,
oh
you want
yeah.
to hear the money? The money will pay you to be a bouncer on this store. Your wife
Mm.
might let you have sex with them, might even let you put your will in her mouth." And she
Oh
goes,
yeah,
"What?"
she does say
And he
that.
goes,
He goes,
he
what?
goes, "Don't be rude to my wife." And his wife goes, "How much money are you talking?"
How much money? Be as rude to
She's
me as you
calculating
want.
it.
Okay, so Stack obviously connects with Preacher Boy, and he gives him bit of the gives him some of his tunes on the car on the way, and he absolutely loves it. Stack, he's well into it. He's like, this is hot shit, which it is really deep voice. Old
Yeah.
Miles Caton's got, a really deep, um, syrupy voice, let's say. Um, so yeah, he's coming along to play the blues, but we need
It's
someone
got a
else to
time
do.
travel voice. If he does a lovely song for you, Ben,
He's got a
it's
time
like
travel voice.
it's like Gwildor's been in with the cosmic key. He's opened up a vortex to all sorts of
He's
times and
going.
spaces.
Your voice is amazing. I don't know what I'm saying there because it's 1932, but it reminds me of Jimi Hendrix slash Run DMC. What else do we get? It's kind of like so. Essentially, we'll describe the scene in a minute, but it's like fictional versions of particular people from music
Yeah,
history,
legally
from black
distinct
music history,
versions
right?
from other
Yeah,
other styles of
yeah.
music and so
Other
on.
style. We'll get to that because we need to discuss that in detail. So yeah, after that he goes and gets what's his name? The pianist, as
Your
I was
mate
my mate Delroy Lindo. Exactly. Goes and gets him involved. He loves a drink, doesn't he? He absolutely
does,
loves a drink.
and that's how they get him because he's like, "I'll pay you 20 quid to play it tonight," which is a lot of money in them days.
Yeah.
And he goes, "Oh, well, no, I play this place every
Yeah.
Tuesday." And he goes,
And you know
"Well,
what? I respect him for this.
yeah, because
He's
he's
like,
well,
I've been
I only
playing there
get
for
paid
10
five
years.
dollars, but that'll still be there next week."
Yeah. And then he goes, oh, I'm just gonna have a lovely, refreshing Irish beer in front of you, lip smacking. Delta Slim is the pianist, and then
Delta Slim, and he says, "Look, you can play for us. We'll pay you handsomely, and as much of this Irish beer as you want, and then no strings. You haven't got to come and do it next week if you don't want."
yeah, we'll do it for a one-off. Why'd you say that? Because you're gonna be dead. I mean, no, I don't know. Um, there's a woman as well called Perline, which is who
Perline,
Sam,
who just watches them come and play, and
yeah,
then
and he goes,
Sammy, he's got game for a preacher
he's
boy.
all
He
over
goes
it,
over and says, "You
risen her up.
Yeah," he goes over, he does rise her up. He says, "Are you coming to watch me?" So I'm married, by the way. He goes, "Oh,
Oh yeah, she's married. Yeah.
happily married." She says, "You son of a bitch,
That's
I'm
the next
in."
question you ask, isn't it? Happily married, is it? Well, no, no one is. No one is. Her indoors, him indoors, her at home.
The old
Um,
ball and chain.
so she says, I could sing actually. They don't go do an audition. They say, just come down and crack on if you want. Um, so yeah, after that, we see, so Mary turns up at this, they're at a train station when this happens. Um, Mary turns up, and she has got history with Stack. She's just buried her mum. She's angry at Stack and Smoke, I guess, for not coming to the funeral because she was like a mother figure to Smoke and Stack, Mary's mum. Also, this is interesting. Mary is like quarter black. She says that her dad was half black, and so
Yeah,
she essentially passes for white. So again, there's a lot of discussion here about sort of having a connection to a certain community and a connection to a certain um, way of life, but also passing for white. So essentially, on the surface, you're not going to receive, especially in 1932, the same level of sort of like racism or anything like that because she completely
yeah.
passes for white. I wasn't sure if this was correct, but that's actually true of Hailee Steinfeld as well. She has got her so her father's Jewish, her maternal grandfather is half Filipino, half African American.
Well, there you
So
go.
maybe a little bit less than the half black as she mentions, but still, um, she's got it going on. She's got it going on. Um, but yeah, she's angry at Stack for various reasons, isn't she? And it's weird that
We
attitude they
kind
have
of
towards her as well. So he left her like in the middle of the night, didn't he? He went, all the best.
yeah. And again, lots of talk of oral sex. He goes, oh, just figured that I told you to stay away from me. He goes, oh yeah, but then fucking nosh me off for ages.
And then you
So
were bloody chin deep in me nether regions. I think she said
yeah,
something like that. And he went, yeah, well, I can't resist, mate.
that was then.
That was then. But you know what? Um,
And it turns out there is. I mean, may as well talk about this now. There is a deeper thing in there that he, again, as you said, understanding that she passed for white, he kind of wanted her to get away from the prejudices that he was facing, to marry someone, to settle down, to have a good life away from the dangers that come with his life, not just from the perspective of his background, but from the fact that he also works with organized criminals. Um, saying that he wanted her to have a good and safe life. So he kind of, maybe he's rewriting history a bit here. He dumped her for kind reasons.
he dumped her for kind, but she don't think they're kind. She's still fuming. 7 years later as well, still raging.
Yeah, and the same though. I think they have this conversation later when she's, oh, you didn't even send flowers for my mom's funeral.
Mm,
And they said we sent flowers a lot when your mom was alive to smell them.
yeah, and I go, shit excuse. Shit excuse. Oh, did they even know? That's the thing. I was almost like maybe they didn't know. You know, how does I mean, how does word travel about their Duke joint? I guess they just draw up a lot of wherever they go. They kind of say we're opening this place tonight. It's going to be a big night.
I mean, that's what they do when they're doing
There's no
the little
MySpace back
musical
then.
demonstration in town.
Yeah, yeah, doing a big demonstration. So
Yeah, there was no, you've been invited, interested, meaning I probably won't go.
interested, maybe. Cat a Ted. Sorry, Cat a Ted. Already going
Oh,
somewhere else.
interested is what I click when it's like I do want to be interested in this thing, but it is logistically impossible for me to make
I'm
it.
interested, but I ain't
Especially
going. No, no, no,
get an
exactly.
invite from my friends. Like I'm doing this thing. Like I'm playing my first doing a type five at open mic at
Doing a type five.
open mic down at a comedy club in Birmingham. It's like I do live an 8 hour drive away, but I am interested.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I am interested. Oh man, the Facebook event invite, like in a unsigned band of the 2010s, was an absolute minefield. It was like, well, we got to make sure we got to sell 30 tickets. We've got 7 people interested on the Facebook group. Oh God,
Oh
so
no.
much stress. So yeah, that's how they drum up interest. They just go, they get old Delroy Lindo and Sammy to have a little jam, I guess. Have a little
Yeah,
jam.
he's banging out on the old mouth organ like Richard O'Brien is in Crystal
Like
Maze.
Richard O'Brien. Sammy goes to play something. He goes, "Don't. This is my patch. If you so much as sing a note, I'm gonna be, I'm gonna be over there choking you out." Also, Smoke and Annie, they talk a bit more about her practices. That her practices like kept the twins safe which was, the amulet or whatever else he was wearing. But then Smoke says, but it didn't keep our infant daughter. Our infant daughter still died, and she's
But
like,
she
well,
wasn't wearing it.
because she wasn't wearing it. They want to put on a baby. Um, right. So after and again, it spent a lot of good time establishing all these characters and their connection to the twins, their the skin that they've got in the game, I guess, as well. So it does really well at that. And then we're introduced to Remick, who's fleeing some Choctaw vampire. So it says here Choctaw vampire hunters. So Choctaw are a Native American people. I don't think it's established that they're vampire hunters straight away. He's just running from some people and he's sizzling.
He's sizzling on fire, going, bloody hell!
Bloody hell! And he arrives at a house and opens the door, and there's a couple who have got Klansman hoods, like just in the back, just on
I know.
display. Oh yeah. Um, and they're obviously very angry at Remick and sort of say, "Go away. We don't want anyone here." But he plays
Thing is,
the
oh, how come? Yeah, I think you talk about Steinfeld's character earlier on. They say, oh, how come? They make an assumption that he might be either a Native American or
yeah,
or a like a black person. They're like, oh, how come you just might be someone that passes for white? You're to bloody robbers.
yeah.
Because I'm not, mate. I'm on fire.
I
His words,
promise
not
you,
mine.
I'm not. I'm just on
He
fire.
describes them as Indians that have like robbed him basically, and says, "I've got gold. You can
Yeah,
have it." So he appeals to their like greed, I guess, as well. So like, I need you just to save me from these people. Can I come in?
yeah. Can I come in? And obviously they go, "Yeah, come on then. In you come."
Because these vampires are they that rule applies to these vampires. They have to be invited into a place.
Oh yeah. I mean, that is. I feel like vampires in cinema have never been more obvious than they are in this film. So, could I? I feel like I want you to invite me in. What?
What happens, Ben? Asking you as a horror expert here. If your vampire is your landlord, if your landlord becomes a vampire, meaning they technically own the
Oh
house,
yeah, good point.
are they allowed to come in, or do then the rules of a landlord apply and they have to give you 24 hours notice?
Yeah, I reckon 24 hours notice. You can't just turn up and go, "Oh bloody hell, you
And it has
polyfilla
to be
these holes in."
convenient for you, so you can say, yeah, yeah, you can come in midday.
You can go in at midday. But also, what you can also shout from a distance, "Come on in, then you can," and that counts as well as being politely invited
Couldn't
in.
someone have gone? She doesn't speak for us. You're not invited.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. I did think that. And also, like, there's one character later on who's been in and out, like up and down like a fiddler's elbow. And he's been in and out, and then he just goes, "Right, invite me back in then, will you?" And they've gone, "What? What a weird thing to say." I just feel like all the vampires who do want to get invited in are so obvious about it in this film that,
You need to
like,
start playing
even
a
if
bit
I was
more,
in a
play it
film,
a bit more cool.
exactly, even if this wasn't a film with vampires, people would still go, "Excuse me? What are you on about? Invite me in then, will
Uh,
you? You've been in, you were in just now." Yeah, but now it's different. I want to get invited in. Grow up. Um, so yeah, but Remick does immediately go in and turn the vampires, doesn't he?
yeah,
Well,
because
that's it.
well
The
the
Choctaw hunters turn up afterwards, don't they?
yeah, so the lady of the house goes to answer the door a second time when the vampire hunters are in there and go, um, there's a fella turned up here. They go, no.
No, I ain't seen no feller. I ain't seen any fellers. Oh, we've tracked him exactly here. His sizzling footsteps lead all the way up to. Is he in there? Nah, nah. Oh, okay.
And then they said like he's not what he seems, and if you've let him into the house, we need to do something very quickly. Um, to be fair, at this point, if you just said, look, he's a vampire. If you let him in, you're in big trouble. Just let us go and shoot this man to death, and then you'll be all right.
Yeah,
Then it wouldn't be a film though, so this
it
has to
wouldn't be.
happen.
It would not be a film because
I need to. I don't want to see more of these fellas.
yeah, I know. I did think this. I wanted them to be involved or like turn up a bit later because you know what? It wouldn't have been a huge stretch for them to have got wind of something happening and turned up at the end, would it? You know what I
No,
mean? Like,
I
I don't
guess
know.
like as a film, would it be a little bit Deus Ex Machina if it's like, oh, it's all right. these fellas have turned up and
These
saved the
fellas have
day.
turned up. Well, maybe do something completely different. These fellas turn up and just get offed immediately. You think, oh shit, they've saved the day, and they get done in straight
Or
away.
someone you think that's been got has gone and met them, and they come back with them and say, "Oh, I found these fellas."
Yeah, and they're got as well. Is that what you're
Yeah.
saying?
No, they
Oh,
can
like a
rescue them then.
hero. Oh, okay, okay, I got it. I
So
got
like
it. I got
someone
it.
who you think has been got,
Yeah.
they actually found these fellas, and they're
I
like, oh,
mean,
okay.
I feel like great. I feel like I would have much rather seen these characters again rather than essentially like the Klansmen who turn up a bit later. I
I tell
get
you
it.
what though,
I
they
understand
leave
that,
you wanting,
but
leave you wanting a bit more.
leave you wanting a bit more. Exactly. There's a whole mini series of of these vampire hunters knocking about, chasing down Irish immigrant vampires as
I mean,
well.
if this was, this is obviously an original story and something that goes on its own, but you know what? In a world of corporate synergies, Ben, this is the tie-in comic book. These fellas, buy it and see what they're up
Yeah.
to. The
Hell
further
yeah.
these are the action figures that you can
So
get.
so Remick, who is played by Jack O'Connell in this, he turns both those Klansmen, the couple, well, she goes back into the bedroom and he's just absolutely ripped the husband to shreds, but then he's
It's
getting
fine.
up.
Don't worry, he's only poorly. Be right in a minute.
He's only poorly, and then obviously he's going to do it to her now. He's covered in blood. There we go, establishing the villains at this point.
And
Now
then
we
they
go to
don't
the
turn up for a
opening
little
night.
bit in the interim between now and when we see them again. They have a sit down, they tune their guitars, and they learn all the choreography for later
Yeah.
on.
Or do they just know? Because they do a thing later on, was like, oh, I can see your memories, I share your memories. It's
Oh
almost like the
yes,
main
vampires are like a hive mind, aren't
a
they? So
hive
they
mind, like the
work.
main memory. All the memories from Remick are like shared within
So
everybody.
yeah, so if he is a good music man, they can go into his mind palace and get
Yeah.
all of his musical
But this
skills.
is where it kind of is established, like in terms of like a shared culture and shared memories, in terms of like how the music is transcendent. It kind of explores that a bit with the vampirism as well, which is really like fascinating, but also like quite unique, I would say.
Yeah.
So we go. So it's the the joints opening night. We kind of see everybody arriving and all the food on, and everyone's got nice and dressed up. And then Sammy starts doing a little bit of music. There's
He
some
does the
really
best
good,
music.
the best music. There's some really good uh like music within the foley of the world as well in this bit. There's a bit where I think it might be Mario, it might be someone else, like lights a match, and that's like in tune with like the percussion of something. And
Yeah,
then
and we
there's a
do some
few
great
more moments.
screams later that are part
Yeah,
of.
but it's not obvious. That's the thing. It's not like, when it's just like how a trailer sometimes is edited is like the percussion or the beat of the trailer, the music sometimes goes along
Yeah,
with what's
yeah,
happening on the screen. But this is really like it's subtle. But yeah, essentially Sammy's music, which they describe at the start, obviously this great music can be transcendent. It summons spirits of both past and future to join the crowd. Now, I'm assuming obviously they can't see these particular things. We're
no,
supposed to believe it's a way that
it's just
everybody
a
feels in
metaphor.
this instance. It's a
Yeah,
metaphor, exactly. Yeah. So
visions of the
there,
past and visions of the future.
yeah. So we've got like rock and roll, Motown, hip hop, rap, all this stuff, which is like mixing, like actual people from the future mixing in and milling about with all the other characters, and we kind of have this real, this real like winding shot that moves through the venue, like soaking it all in. And you think,
Yeah.
just when you think it's done, like the whole roof of the place, like it's a literal barn burner, isn't it? So the barn burns, not really, metaphorically, and connects all of these people and all this music to just the world around it. Um, yeah, I mean, I can't even begin to think like how that particular shot was kind of how they came up with it and how they managed to like get it to work as well. Because it could, in a different film, that could have been a bit hokey, a bit silly.
But it's really, really good. It's so cool. I feel, Ben, this is the power that we have when we're really nailing it podcast wise. Like we are able to invoke. You can just imagine if we had the video editing technique now, we could be on one of the riffs here and it could be like, oh, the horror news, these films that haven't come out yet. And then all of a sudden, Rod Hull and Emu are here. And then,
And what's his name from Bloody Postman Pat? They're talking about modern films, but they're also talking about British culture from the past.
yeah,
Oh yeah,
exactly. But yeah, in, you know, I don't want to take anything away from Sammy here. He does it maybe even better than we do. And
And it kind of
it's
like
a
it
transcendent moment of the film. I think it's excellent.
yeah, and his song kind of like draws. You get like rock and rap and hip hop and all these other things that come into that song, but it never really takes away from like the essence of what he's playing. It's not like he suddenly starts playing a different genre. He continues to play what he's playing, and like obviously the soundtrack, which we discussed already. I feel like the soundtrack's a bit like that as well. Like when when there are certain parts of the film, like the soundtrack kind of goes alongside it, but when the film goes a bit over the top or maybe a bit B movie or a bit when there's like vampire shit kicking off, the music's like proper like metal, isn't it? There's like
Yeah.
some stuff which is just like real like violin, and then there's some stuff which is just like this blues stuff. But sometimes when the vampires turn on, like, it goes like just like essentially like metal, even like black metal at times, where it's just
Yeah.
like these droning guitars. It's
It's
mad.
not often that I you know, aside from notable themes, Jurassic Park suite, so on, it's seldom I would say that I look up the OST of a film
Mm.
just like listening in the background. I reckon I'll have a bit of this on tomorrow.
Yeah,
Sending
yeah,
my
it's great.
emails to some powerful strings.
I definitely need to check it out in full because I've only heard it alongside the film currently. So yeah, absolutely. So yeah, this kind of happens, and this is the as good as the night gets for
Yeah.
everybody, I guess,
Well,
because things.
it's not as good as the night gets for Sammy. It
Oh
gets
no, 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 no.
after an absolutely bonza performance,
Yeah,
he goes in and puts another one
he goes and puts
in
in another great performance, merely having got a little bit of cunnilingus tips from Stack.
in the car earlier on. It's like eating a lovely ice cream.
It's like eating a lovely ice cream, and he does some seriously great work. Um, he does some serious.
I tell you what makes it. I mean, he's working against the odds because you know what? The volume of petticoats that existed in this era,
Oh God, yeah.
ever so difficult.
Also, what I respect about him in this moment is that when she says, "I walked here, let me have a little freshen up first," and he goes, "No, oh, I want it all." I respect that. I tip my hat to him there. I go, he's a man after my own heart, you know. So, so
The man after your own heart. Hey, I've got a jaw like a hyena and a tongue like a venom. Get stuck in, mate.
get stuck in. It ain't good until you get that weird cramp in the side of your jaw. Where you're like, God, Jesus Christ. Uh, those who know know.
Yeah.
But yeah, there is a lot of cunnilingus talk in this.
Got a lower mandible like a He-Man villain. Get stuck in.
Exactly, but not like Jared Leto in the new He-Man reboot. I don't reckon. So the music performance, sorry, it drew Remek's attention as well. So he and his two minions like arrive as well.
They
Um,
go, oh, are we allowed?
are we
Oh,
allowed in? Yeah.
we should
Oh,
say
we
the
should
other
establish that Mary's here as
pieces.
well,
Yeah,
shouldn't we?
yeah. Mary's come in again, and again they have this thing where at first old cornbread on the door goes, "Excuse me, miss, and you're not sure you're in the right place." And he goes, "She has risen. I'm I do belong here." And he goes, "Oh, gee," but there is still that feeling that maybe she doesn't belong there because Smoke doesn't really want her there
No.
because they've
And I
fallen out.
guess
And
this
then
is
she
the thing,
goes and
isn't it? Like,
says,
if you've established a place where, in an environment like 1932 America, there are going to be tons of places where they say no people of color allowed.
"Yeah,
Um, Still, there's still going to be places like that. So the fact, like, starting a place like this that is strictly for, you know, people of the local black community to enjoy all these things together, perhaps you will feel part of you a little bit like, oh no, this is our place, but another part of you probably like, actually, we should probably be more open and welcoming than areas that places that aren't for our particular culture. So it's a bit
yeah,
of a double-edged sword, really, isn't it?
yeah." It's one of those things, isn't it? And like they kind of they're cautious, but then they later on, even when the vampires come, they do try and think about it because they obviously they're really sparing no expense this John Hammond style,
Yeah,
and they
and
realize the money's not going to last.
when you say that, it's because three white people turn up. It's not because three people turn up and go, "We're vampires,"
Yeah,
isn't it?
and they do think about letting them in later on. I was thinking about this. They look like they're having a lovely time. I, as a white person, would love to see transcendent music that allows me to see the past and the future.
Yeah,
But I can understand that actually there are a lot of spaces for me. I would respectfully
yeah.
go, oh, I guess I'm missing out on
That's
this
the
one.
thing. Yeah, it's a double-edged sword. It's almost like you want to be inclusive, but at the same time, like we've established this place for us in 1932 America. It's not like
Yeah, I guess if
modern day.
we, Friday the 13th, the series style, went back to
Yeah.
1932 America, we could say, oh, we're different though because we're from the future. Look at our modern clothes. And they'd say, oh, okay, is racism sorted? And I was like,
Look at your modern clothes. Yeah, look at what you did. There we go.
um,
So
so, yeah, horrible.
they
Sorry.
offer music. They offer money as well, don't they? And they offer money, and they say
Before
like, "We'll
that,
join in."
Mary, this is where they have the conversation where she said, "Look, I wanted you to have a better life," and then she goes to try and kiss old Smoke, and then
Stack.
Stack. Bloody
Yeah.
hell! This is the mistake you made, thinking that was she was swapping brothers.
Well, I thought this right because she said something along the lines of,
You can
um,
steal all that stuff from people, but you can't steal another man's.
"Yeah, and for some reason, I made the assumption that she was saying that she was because she'd had history with Stack, that she was then talking to Smoke, and I was like, that don't make sense. And even when they were getting it on in the back room, I thought, oh no, what if he walks in on that? But then, as a little bit more time went along, I realized I'd misheard this particular line.
Yeah. So yeah, so things they're dancing and having a nice time together. This is when the old vampire lads rock up.
Yeah, they've got like some ancient gold coins, and they go, we got some lovely Irish folk
Some
music to join
doubloons.
in. Yeah, some blues. They do a song, don't they? They do a song about like picking the bones off a robin or something like that.
Yeah.
Something like that.
It's
I
a
go, oh
very
yeah, I love that
jaunty little
tune.
song, and I
Yeah.
like they've got like a little like a dance that they
Oh yeah,
do.
they're good. They're definitely good, but they basically get sorry, sling your hook. Um,
They say, look, we're not sure we can trust you. They don't want the trouble because they say like it's not just they said we start letting these folks in, it all like they know it can bring trouble for them.
yeah,
Um,
exactly.
and
Which
then
is
he's like, oh, I'll
understandable.
tell you what, we'll walk away really slowly in case you change your mind.
Yeah, they do. And then a little while afterwards, Mary goes after them to try and basically see if they're decent folk. Um,
Realizing like that they need the money, she
they
goes to
need
try
the
and
money
suss them out.
for the place, yeah, because essentially it's got to be a successful night for them to carry on doing what they're doing. Um, so it seems all right to start with, and this is the thing, like it's kind of weird because these vampires they haven't got like what their end goal is doesn't seem to be like, oh, we just want to kill everyone and cause carnage and fuck everyone up. We
They
want to
want
turn
Sammy's music
everybody.
power, don't they?
Yeah, they want Sammy's music power because they want to connect with their ancestors. Well, Remick does, and almost like it's almost like a cult like thing going on where they all share the same consciousness and they all want to.
They're all connected to him, but they
That's
are
right,
all
yeah.
separately alive.
Which is kind of I don't know. And they also talk about the clans people and they talk about them being bigots and stuff. And again, this could just be Remick talking the talk to try and get on their side. But in a world full of shit, vampirism or racism, I mean, one or the other.
Vampirism probably the lesser of those
Yeah,
two
yeah, that's what I'm
things.
thinking. But yeah. So it all goes a bit south. Mary thinks she realizes something's awry. She points a gun at one of them, didn't she?
Yeah, they go, soz.
And she goes, I'm going to go back inside. But as she's walking inside, we see Remick like fly, essentially, zoom off into the sky. So we think, oh shit. And then we don't see anything from Mary again for a very brief
Until
period of
she
time.
gets back looking absolutely fine. A minute later, and goes, "Oh, all right, cornbread on the door. Do you mind if I just come back in?" He goes, "Of course." And then she
Yeah,
like looks at the camera
that's
and is
how you
like,
do. That's how you do it, cornbread. You don't go, well, can you bloody invite me into something? So she pretty much immediately makes a beeline for Stack, and I he might think, oh, she's had a couple of tinnies or Irish beers, and now she's well up for it. But she takes him into like a back room and starts
gobs in his mouth.
gobs in his mouth. That's it. She starts drooling because that's what Remick does earlier. We see him drooling a bit, so I guess it's like the first or something when you're a vampire. It causes you to drool. But yeah, rather than Stat being disgusted by it, he's like drool straight in my mouth. Give me an old gob in me gob. Can't argue with that
Pretty
either.
sure he didn't say bite my bloody neck off though.
Yeah. And what did you think of this? Because this is quite extreme because we've already lost two major characters to the old vampire, including one of the bloody twins.
Yeah, straight away. Look, the first thing, Sammy pops his head in because he's needed. There's a bit of a gambling dispute that's gone on, and he sees, she's riding him. He goes, "Oh, he's but he's getting a bit of nookie, isn't
Oh
he?
yeah, because
So
there's a little gambling
don't
dispute where
disturb him."
someone gets sliced. Someone gets
Yeah,
like
with a
a
razor,
someone gets razored, and then they end up kicking the shit out of somebody else, don't they?
a
The person
fella.
who did it, kicking the shit out of
But
him.
yeah. So Sammy goes to get him, sees that they're having sex, and he goes, "Oh, give it a
I'll leave him
minute."
to it. Give him 5 minutes, maybe 1 minute. It seemed pretty good.
Um, and then Smoke's raging. He goes, "Absolutely not. I'll go and get him right now." And then when he sticks his back in, and he goes, "That's not what sex looks like, mate." He's had his head bit.
One person is bleeding out right now. So yeah, Mary is chewing on Stack's neck. She turns around. She's got glowing eyes. Are all of their glowing eyes like the same color?
Yeah, they're like
Yeah.
when you shine a torch at a cat, isn't it?
Yeah, yeah, I thought so. And then she's got fangs covered in blood, and she says something like, "It's not what it looks like." And
It's not what it looks like. He goes, right, get some bullets up you, mate.
Smoke does not. I won't hesitate, bitch. He immediately starts shooting her, but she
He's
like,
like guns akimbo. He's
yeah,
like Life Aquatic with Steve Zissou. He gets out both guns and is like,
she gets hit, but then she runs out. Obviously, the party stops because everyone's like, "Well, this ain't what's supposed to happen." Gunfire. Oh wait, she does say something. She says like, we're gonna don kill all of you,
yeah.
y'all, or something like
And then he
that. Doesn't
gives her
she?
some more bullets. She's like, I'm just going,
I'm
all
just
right.
leaving. Don't shoot me in the back, for God's sake. Um, and then essentially Stack bleeds out and dies. Smoke holds her close and holds him in his lap. And Anna comes in as well. Annie, sorry. And I think he's saying like, "Is there anything you can do?" Because obviously she's into a lot of
Can
the
you magic him back to
I want to
life?
say
She goes,
new
absolutely
age
not.
stuff, but I guess it is new age in the 30s. But yeah, he dies, and then Delroy Lindo goes out and says, "Party's over. Everybody get yourself home." And this was another thing. Like when everybody left, I was a bit like, "Oh, what does that mean?" But there's not as much fodder now for the vampires. And then I
No, but
thought
what after we've all just sent them off to be got?
that's exactly what I thought. Like I immediately made the switch. I was like, "Okay, there's no fodder for vampires." And I was like, "Oh shit, they're all going to be vampires now, aren't they?"
Yeah. And
So we see
Cornbread
them
has
go off
also
into the
gone for a
night.
wee.
What was that?
Cornbread's gone for a wee.
Oh yeah, so this was just before that as well, wasn't it? Or actually, maybe it was after.
Simultaneously, they're chopping
Simultaneously,
between.
Cornbread goes off for a wee. Delroy Lindo's on the. I can't work out what his real name is. Delroy Lindo. Delta Slim is on the door. Um, he's like, "I didn't sign up for this. Jesus, he's gone for ages as well. What's going on? He's having a.
You're falling in, mate.
He's wait. That's pretty much that's what exactly what you said to me, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Man, I went to the toilet and then I got so this is real life when we were at Screams by the Sea Festival. I said, "I'll meet you in there. I'm just going to the toilet." But then I got caught in like a never-ending conversation. A conversation that ended in me having to present an award at the end of the festival as well. And then you just text me saying, "Have you fallen in?" I like that. I enjoyed it. Um, but yeah, obviously Cornbread's gone and been got as well. And when he comes back and he's like, it's all kicked off, obviously, he's like, "Shit, this is mad. Right, invite me back in and I'll
I'll help with this.
And they're like, "Hang on a minute. We've been exposed to vampires now." So initially, what does Annie say instead of vampire? She says something else, doesn't she? Hakes.
Oh,
Is it something like that? Or
yeah.
is that a fish?
Hake is a fish, but it sounds like that.
Yeah. I can't remember exactly what she says. But I think she thinks it's one of those kind of like things that like switches its soul with you rather than a vampire. But she's like, "Oh,
Yeah.
actually, vampires are bloody worse, if anything." Um, so
So
the place
Annie's straight onto it and she goes, hang on a second. That's exactly what a vampire would say.
that's exactly what a vampire would say, mate. Yeah.
Count to three. And then he goes, one, and he goes, ha.
Yeah.
I knew it.
I bloody
Vampires
knew
always
it,
do
you
a big
bloody
laugh
mug.
after they count.
How do you feel about this? I knew when he was putting his arm outside the door that was going to be it. Who was it? It was the who was it that he
Oh, he
got at
goes,
this
oh, pay
stage?
me the money that you owe me.
Yeah, that's right. And he put his arm out. So it was Smoke. Put his arm out
I
like
thought it was
that.
going to go the other way, actually. I thought it was going to be that I thought Annie was going to knock the money out of his hand, and then being a vampire, also they have to obsessively count stuff, don't they? So
Oh yeah,
no,
yeah,
genuinely they do.
yeah, yeah. I know, I know.
If you chuck rice on
They
the
didn't
floor,
include
they'd have
that,
to
did
what,
they?
one,
They didn't.
two, carry them on.
Rain Man. Um. So yeah, Cornbread like grabs Smoke's arm and pulls him out, but he like reacts immediately and
Shoots
shoots
him in
his
the
face off.
face.
Shoots him in the face, yeah, and then he just runs off into the night. We've also got so Grace and Bo, the Asian like shopkeepers. Bo is like, I'm gonna go get the car.
Bring the motor around
I'll bring the motor around and we'll leave because their daughter's at home as well, looking after the look. I say looking after the shop, but obviously it's closed. But
in bed.
she's in bed. They want to get home to her. Um. So yeah, but then the thing that throws um a real spanner in the works is that Stack is revived as a vampire in the back room. I mean, if you're gonna go, what a way to go, eh? Just getting the life ridden out of you by Hailee Steinfeld and then suddenly having your neck ripped out. I did kind of think, oh, maybe he's gonna be a vampire, but like kind of on their side potentially. I don't
Yeah.
know.
Because
It
there's
could have gone
nothing
a
to
lot
say.
of different
I
ways.
guess it's the shared memories thing that brings them onto the side. Because otherwise, I don't see why you'd have to be on the same team
Yeah.
as a vampire that has pissed you off.
Yeah, it doesn't really make sense, does it? But they're immediately, and that's the thing. And then Stack,
Who is it that gets garlicked out of the hoose?
I don't know. I don't think that happens. Oh yeah, yeah. So it is. So I think it is Stack. So Stack smashes down the door. It lands on Sammy, and then she throws like the pickled garlic juice in his face.
And he goes, "Oh,
Oh, that bloody burns! And he runs out as well. Um. So then we get. Do they do like the garlic thing yet? Where they go like, one of you must.
this is where we get the thing." So they're all outside.
Yeah.
I don't know actually which bit of it comes from. Again, this is the peril, everybody, when you watch a new film, is that you can't exactly sit there like you're bloody Barry Norman taking notes in the cinema. So you
Yeah.
just got to remember. But there's another, like, it's kind of the flip side to the musical scene we got earlier. We see all the vampire, there's tons of vampires out there now,
Yeah.
and they do a great sort of musical number out there, like a very different musical number, but it's like the almost like a
Yeah.
folk music thing.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. It's like a big version of. I think it is a big version of the song they were doing, but like
Having a Kaylee.
with a lot more harmonies and stuff like that. What I kind of like in this instance is that Hailee Steinfeld and Stack are there, but they're very much like in the background and like as supporting
Yeah.
characters. They don't suddenly turn up and be like, "We're the main ones now. We're the main vampires." They're still like part of the crew. They're not like because I almost kept going, "Oh yeah, the shit, there he is in the background. Oh yeah, 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 of course." And seeing like Cornbread and everyone and that, it was cool. I like that. I like that they didn't become like the head honchos.
But inside, we're having a moment which is very the thing
Yeah,
where
very the thing,
everyone
exactly.
says, right, eat this garlic to make sure you're not a vampire.
Eat this garlic to make sure you're not a vampire, and of course, one person has to be like, "A, oh, I don't actually really like garlic. I don't think I can do that." And old Delroy Lindo has like a heartburn or something.
Get us the Rennies!
Hey! I bet he's like, fuck's sake, what a time to have it. Eat this little bit of garlic. I see, lovely, I love it. Ah! Steam coming out of his ears. That's the worst time to have an adverse reaction to pickled
He
garlic.
gets one of the pickled ones, doesn't he?
He gets
He's
one of the ever so pickled ones. And then what's her name as well? The Pearline? Is that how you saying her
yeah,
name? Pearline,
Pearline.
like,
Wait,
just doesn't like it. She's like, oh, yuck. And they're like, well, so no one's a vampire there, which is nice. Um, and then we basically get a moment where Annie just explains everything that can kill vampires.
So
Silver,
right,
wooden
everyone get ready.
stakes, can't enter the building until they're invited, which is fine because that means we just got to last the night. No one invite them in, and we'll be fine. All right. But then Remick turns up with his horde, and this was very reminiscent of I Am Legend, more so the book than the movie or either of the movies, with Will Smith or who's what's the original movie?
Charlton
Charlton
Heston.
Heston, yeah, yeah. I guess a bit more like the Charlton Heston one, where the vampires are just essentially going, "Oh, come and be a vampire. It's a right laugh. It's quality."
It's brilliant,
Anything you want.
actually.
It's actually great. The
Watch
Sushi
this.
guy,
Shoot my face off. I'm fine,
because
actually.
I think, oh yeah, there's the guy who got sliced with the razor as well is outside at one point. I think he
Oh,
gets
this is the guy they
attacked.
think he's dead, and they put him outside, and they go, "Oh
Yeah,
shit, was that he
actually, is
want?
that
He wasn't vampire dead, was he?" And you just see him getting up and going, "Oh, I just
he was
slipped on the
lying in a
soap or
he was
something."
lying in a puddle of wine or something, when they were like,
Yeah,
"He bled out here. Get him outside." Yeah,
yeah.
and we see him
Unfortunately, he
turn.
was fine,
We
and
see him
then
turn in real time, don't we? Yeah.
yeah, cornbread chows down on him
Cornbread
after
chows
just
down
like
on him.
finding
Yeah,
him. He goes,
turns in real time.
"What's this
And
here?"
again, Remick, I guess, is negotiating, but like he is quite, he's charismatic. So
Yeah,
we
he
are
goes
time.
around the houses, doesn't he? He goes,
Yeah.
"Honey, you could, you know, see your daughter again. That'd be all right, wouldn't it?"
At what?
And
Oh, yeah,
actually,
exactly. He does say that because he's got those shared memories initially, so he knows the history of all of them. Essentially, he knows their names, he knows their families. He even
and he
says,
points out the clan things, doesn't he? He says, "Look, this isn't an old like mill. This is a slaughterhouse.
"Yeah,
They will come and they're gonna kill you. In fact, one of the vampire lads here, he was the nephew of the guy you bought
yeah,
it from, is the big cheese."
yep." And he basically says that the clan are going to attack this place at dawn and kill everybody here. So, basically says Sammy's supernatural talent is going to help them connect with their ancestors. He claims that vampirism offers immortality, freedom, and the escape from racism. There's a lot of talk. It's quite cult like because they do talk about all being one and kind of sharing this consciousness, and yeah, it's all a bit mad. But he wants to summon the spirits of his lost community. So I guess it's
Yeah,
like it made me think: does he mean his Irish immigrant community? Does he mean the community of vampires?
vampires.
Like it's all a bit mad, but again, I'd like we hear enough that makes me go, I want to find out more.
Yeah,
Um,
it's really interesting.
Sammy
Such a
even
good
seems
thing
yes, sorry, Sammy even seems tempted at one point, doesn't he? Almost goes to step out.
because he says, "Oh, well, if you give us Sammy, then we'll just leave you to it." Actually,
Oh yeah, of course you will. Of course, the weak person in the group, there always has to be one, is Grace. Now the reason being, Bo, her husband, has been turned, and I think initially he just goes, I've got the car. Come on out. And there's like vampires around him. And she's like, what about all this stuff happening? He's like, nah, it's fine. Come on. Weird.
that
But
sounds like a trick. It's not.
because
Oh, okay then.
it's not a trick, but because of the shared consciousness, Remick even mentions that they could go and pay a visit to Grace and Bo's daughter. Um, is it Lucy? I feel like I'm not. Lisa. Go and pay a visit to Lisa, and obviously Grace is upset, as you would be. Like,
And
oh
they kind of
no.
recontextualize that song that they sing earlier about eating Robin.
Yeah, yeah,
It's just, oh,
exactly.
gonna eat your kid actually.
We're actually gonna eat your kid, yeah. We're gonna, and if it what it feels like is that like they are really manipulative in the way that they can be. Oh, vampirism is a laugh. It's actually lovely. It's actually we're immortal. It's actually great until they don't get what they want, and they're just like, we're gonna fucking kill you. We're gonna rip you to shreds.
Now
Um,
Grace makes a mistake here. What she could have shouted was, "Just one of you at a time is allowed in."
yeah, that would have been good. Oh
They
man,
could have treated it like a
this
corner
is
shop in
this
the
is
in the
actually
90s. Only two vampires inside at
only
any
two
given
vampires
time.
at a time, and all of you stay with. I want to see what you're doing at all
And as they
times.
walk in, you could
Show me
just
your hands.
bonk them on the head as they come through the door.
Um. So yeah, what
This
happens?
is, I think, the point, Ben. So they're winding Grace up, and she basically just shouts, "Oh, come on in, then, motherfuckers!" And then basically open season. And I feel this is probably the point to say
Yeah.
this is maybe a moment of the film with it's been such a build up to this, and now basically this is the last 20 minutes, maybe all of a
Yeah.
sudden.
So this is what. So essentially, like what we're saying here is it's a final confrontation. Now, my problems with this are that we've spent so long establishing these characters, spending time with these characters, that as soon as this final attack, final confrontation happens, I feel like it happens so quickly and people are being killed in such quick succession that it almost the impact from each death means nothing because I was just trying to keep tabs on who was dying and I don't know, it happened. It just felt like it happened so quickly. Whereas you think, I know we compared it to things like From Dusk Till Dawn, where it's at a halfway point things kick off, but I feel like within that halfway point, you've still got a few acts of them like surviving. Like they lock themselves in a back room. You lose a couple of them, and then you find somewhere else to hide because there's like an attic in this place as well. Like maybe you lose one person and you get up in the attic, and then you're like, right, what's next? And then you try to escape and get to a car, and then you lose someone else, and then maybe you lose someone else. It felt very rushed. It felt
But it's
like
just a biggie now, so
we,
yeah, they all come in,
yeah, they all come
and
in.
we have a big action scene.
Yeah.
I guess the big takeaway from this skirmish is that Annie gets got, and earlier on
Oh
she
yeah, she
says,
says, if I get got, please
"You have to
finish
kill
me
me
off.
before I turn into a vampire."
But again, even this
And
moment, right? So this moment is supposed to be like a big emotional beat, a big emotional story beat. If I get got, kill me. And obviously Smoke is like, I will, whatever. But I'd be like, I ain't gonna come to that. We're gonna be fine. As long as no one invites these fuckers in, we're gonna be fine. Um, yeah, but so obviously,
it's a good
yeah,
job they had
and
that conversation though, because now he has to do it.
because now he has to do it exactly. But that's the thing. That is, it has the payoff for this moment is mere minutes after it's established. Like it hasn't even had time to sink in for me to suddenly be like, oh shit, now he's got a killer. I don't know. It just felt. I don't know if you did. You feel like this bit was rushed, or did you feel like this
It,
was?
it comes it comes quickly, but like I kind of like the pacing of it. So yeah, we see like Annie, he has to stake her basically before she can become a vampire. And it was clear that her turning into a vampire was part of their plan because the vampires are gutted about this. Oh no!
Yeah. Oh bloody hell! Who's done that then? We
Because
wanted her.
Mary even runs off having a bit of a right suck, isn't she? She
Yeah.
runs off into the distance. She's
She,
dead upset about it.
yeah. She's having a. Yeah. Don't. Who can blame her? Obviously, Pearline gets like bit as well. Like
That's late. That's after they go upstairs because
after
she
they go upstairs. Yeah,
disappears.
that's right.
So basically, that happens, but they have to basically fall back. Um, Old Delta Slim says like he'll like hold him back. He cuts his wrist and
Cuts his
then
wrist and
like
again, I
basically
was just
tempts all the
going, do you need
vampires
to do
in.
that? Are you? Do I feel like I've spent enough time with this character to think that this character is willing to sacrifice themselves for the greater good? Not yet. Do you know what I mean? Like maybe in a
Yeah,
bit, but not yet. If it, again, it feels like a lot of these emotional beats, the emotional payoffs, all happen in quick succession. And I don't know. I feel like even though we're at a film that's like 2 hours 18, I feel like if there's another 15 minutes to allow
just a
this
little bit more
scene
space.
to just yeah, be padded out a little bit more.
Basically, yeah, you're right though. Perline gets got here.
Yes. Yeah.
Grace, is
Grace
it?
runs off on and jumps on someone on fire.
I assume it's Bo, right? I think it's
I'm
her
assuming it's
husband. She
Bo, so she
takes him
jumps
out
and
on fire,
she's on fire, and then she just burns out, and they're both on fire, and it's just like holy
then
shit.
she stakes him, and then they
Yeah. I just feel like also there's a lot of like characters who seem desperate to survive who are suddenly willing to just die. Do you know what I mean?
until it's it's my time.
Yeah.
Like that woman in Sylvester Stallone's survival movie Daylight, who dies off screen, gives up on
Off
life.
screen, what? I love that film.
Padme's it.
Padme's off screen. Oh no, I've just died of sadness.
Just does
Um,
a big breath out.
because also, I don't know how you feel about this, right? Smoke versus Stack should have been huge. It should have been like Anakin versus Obi-Wan,
Is this how you get
surrounded by
away with the
flames.
fact that having them both on screen digitally might be a bit jarring if you had them interacting face to face?
Yeah, I don't know. I
Whereas
just feel like
actually, you only get to really focus on one of them at a time. Otherwise, just a bit of
yeah,
tumbling.
that's true. Because even them fighting, I was a bit like, eh. Do you know what I mean? Like I could imagine like I'd take Remick dying and then Smoke versus Stack being like the final battle as the sun comes up. Do you know what I mean? Like samurai style, them stood in the knee high water, flames all around them, going toe to toe. I don't know. I feel like this just kind of happens
Yeah,
in an attic.
I guess it happens for a reason that
It
we
does happen for
establish
a reason.
later.
Yeah, it does. It does. Um, but yeah, so yeah, Pearline gets bitten and basically tells Sammy to run away. There was something else I thought of as well in this instance. We'll come back to it when we get to the final act. Um, so yeah,
So
Sammy's trying to
Smoke defeats Stack, and then he goes, "Oh, I'm sorry, I didn't look after." He goes, "Oh, you always did." Their last words
yeah,
together.
Smoke defeats Stack in a way that we don't quite see, right?
Yeah, he Lion Kings him basically. One's on top, then the other's on top, and
Yeah, yeah,
then
yeah. He Lion
he's
Kings him.
finally got him. He's got a half a snooker cue ready to get him.
Yeah,
And then meanwhile, this is pretty cool. So Sammy versus the head vampire.
this is
And
pretty
I
cool. Yeah,
like it where he's using his preacher powers to do the Lord's Prayer, and then all it's really good. It's
yeah.
really, really
And then
good.
he finishes the prayer for him, doesn't he?
All
Yeah,
the vampires join in, and they're all doing it in unison.
this
And
is good.
again, unfortunately, Ben, it's our lot that are the baddies
Yep.
here because he goes, "Oh yeah, there was invaders that came to our country as well, and they made us learn the words of that song, learn those prayers. They forced them on us, and they stitched us up. But I still find comfort in them.
Yeah,
But by the way, in this world, vampires are not allergic to Jesus."
yeah. Also, a great shot where Remick like floats down from the top of the barn or the
Yeah,
sawmill. But yeah, Sammy essentially uses his guitar.
this is the one, Ben. This is the
This is
bonk
the
on the
bonk.
head.
Okay, I got you. I got you. This is the most
So
painful bonk.
because I love it how it basically he bonks him on the head so hard that it ripples through all the other vampires because all of them go,
Yeah.
"Oh!"
Oh, of course. So if we thought, oh, are these all connected? If we kill the main one, will they all die? This kind of like confirms. Well, I guess it doesn't confirm that 'cause some of them still survive.
They won't die. They will also. I think Annie points
Got
out
you.
they can feel his pain. Yeah,
So yeah,
they'll
like
all.
the
You'll
kind of
get
like
them all.
the like metal disc on the front of the guitar. I mean, I don't even know what that. You don't really get that on
Guessing it's
guitars anymore.
silver,
But guessing it's silver, like pretty much just like goes through half his head, like it's a super bonk.
and
This
he's
is
like,
like, oh, that
"It's
don't
still ever
have
so sharp."
that comes ever so sharp. Um,
Yeah. So he's done that, but he hasn't defeated him, and he's going right. That's it. I'm just going to kill you now. But that has given us enough time for Smoke to win his battle, and he stakes him, and then just to finish matters off, you know what happens ever so quickly in this place?
the old sun comes up.
The sun comes up ever so fast.
Sun comes up ever so fast.
It's like someone's put big light on.
The sun rises. The vampire horde is incinerated. Um, now
You think one of them would have been keeping an eye on the time, wouldn't you? Because
you
I
think,
feel at
well,
this point,
exactly, yeah.
even like bearing in mind how quickly the sun comes up, even if he'd won, I don't know where they're all getting off to at this
Yeah, I
point.
guess inside the thing. So here's what I was thinking. So inside, so the venue, the sawmill, hasn't like burned down or anything. So here's what I was thinking. When the clan turn up, like the guy who sold them the place and that, I thought they were going to open the doors and there were going to be vampires in there.
Yeah,
You know what I mean? Because you've got Delroy Lindo, who obviously we still see get killed, but you know he's going to be a vampire. Pearline, she can be a vampire. I kept thinking about Stack as well, like still being there. Whether he was dead or not. I know it wasn't necessarily confirmed, but I kind of thought loads of them are still going to be in there, surely. Like they're
I
not
don't.
all going to
We
have been
see Pearline
incinerated.
outside because her air catches fire.
That's right. We do see Pearline outside. You're right. So maybe they were all outside, but I kind of thought it would have been cool if open the doors, vampires. Do you know what I mean? But then I
Yeah,
guess they couldn't have come out to get them unless they just dragged them in.
but
But
all of them
essentially,
come
yeah, we get
down.
like a kind of action set piece which shows Smoke as a soldier, you know, everything he learned as a soldier. He's got his box of weaponry. He's got a Tommy gun like buried,
Yeah,
and this is obviously the iconic scene from the trailer where we see him firing the Tommy gun at what? Well, we don't know at this stage, do we? In
literally
the trailer,
blitzing all the. It's not vampires. We would assume vampires from the trailer, but actually, he's just shooting arguably worse racists.
he's just shooting all the
Um,
bloody racists up in
and he
the
shoots them up. He does get injured himself, and it is the man that they bought the building from, who again really was the leader of the
Mm.
KK. He grenades those guys in the car.
Yeah,
Good action scene.
good action scene.
And then he's like, "Oh, give us a you got a cigarette?" And he goes, "No." But then he does, and he goes, okay, then. But he does have a cigarette, and then he goes, oh, I've got money, and then he absolutely custards him.
This was like in Inglorious Bastards when Hitler gets absolutely peppered. Do you remember
Yeah,
that? When like you think,
yeah,
oh, is Hitler is in this parallel universe? Is Hitler going to survive? No, he gets riddled with holes. Obviously,
obliterated.
Smoke does see a vision of Annie and their daughter. She's like breastfeeding their daughter, and she looks all angelic. Before Sammy, sorry, before Smoke like dies from his wounds. I'm assuming he just dies from his wounds, doesn't he? Yeah.
Yeah.
Um, and then there was a sequence from the start as well that we didn't mention at the start, but it's Sammy like going home to his father's church, and he's got like just the headstock of his guitar. That's all that's left of it. And he goes back. And his father, I think his father pleads with him to renounce music and seek salvation, but then he just leaves with the guitar in his hand. So it's like he's going to go
Says,
off
no, I
to.
shan't.
I
I'm going
shan't.
to
I love it. I
continue
still love
being
a bit of
music.
music, and you'll take this headstock to some places and go, "Can you fix my guitar?" And I'll do it up fine. It'll be like a trigger and only fools and horses scenario where they're like,
It's a real ship of Theseus situation.
yeah, exactly. Uh, and
This is
then
the
we like,
same guitar, this is.
this is the same bloody guitar. This is the same strings as well. Ever changed the strings? 100 times. Um, so then we flash forward 60 years later, which I guess was unexpected because it kind of happens like mid credits almost, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Um,
It's just
so
him. And you can see because he got a scratch from the vampires, he's still
yeah,
got that his iconic look.
and it's good that the scratch doesn't turn you into a vampire, isn't it? So Sammy is like an elderly man. He's a celebrated blues musician in Chicago. Um, and then someone from like management or security or something comes up to Sammy and says, "We got two people here who want to see you. They've been asking to meet you." And he's like, "Send them in."
They
And
paid
it's
$200, and I was like,
oh yeah, two hundred
they pay
dollars.
you
That's it.
$200, are they going to pay me two hundred
Yeah, yeah.
dollars?
He's like, "Yeah, they've paid me $200. So actually, I'm loaded. So see you later." And in walk Stack and Mary in full 90s get up. Right, we've got.
Don't they both look
They look
fabulous?
fabulous. I mean, to be fair, this is what I was thinking as well. I already did the costume design in this film is great as well because this stuff is like is so awesome. Like, what's he got? Like a high top stack. Mary's got like a lollipop and
A really
some
high pony.
really high pony. I mean, it's like it is iconic. It is iconic.
Yeah.
Um,
And I love it. And like, and we just basically establish is that in their fight, having won, said, look, I'll let you go, but you've got to promise
yeah.
you leave him alone. And they go, I promise. So those two just leave.
I promise. And you, a vampire, I believe you. I will. I'll leave him alone. Apart from 60 years when I feel like I'm just going to turn up and wind him up. So yeah, he had to leave Sammy in peace, and then essentially they offer him the chance at immortality again. They're like, "You want to be
He
immortal?" Oh,
gives him
what,
a little
Dad? I'm
sniff first, and he
90.
goes, you're going to die pretty soon.
Oh yeah, he gives him a sniff.
And he goes, no, it's all right, actually. I've seen enough of the world, so I don't mind
Yeah,
dying, actually.
don't mind having.
Um, but then they say, I tell you what, um, I still sometimes wake every night thinking out of having nightmares about that horrible thing that happened 60
Yeah,
years ago. But until that happened, that's probably my best day ever.
yeah, it was the best night of my life until that, and now I've had 60 years of night terrors thanks to you lot. For God's sake.
In many ways, be pretty annoyed though. Be like, no night has been as good as that wicked one I had.
Yeah. And Stack agrees. He says, "Yeah, probably me too, because it was the last time I saw my brother, and it was the last time I saw my son, and it was the only time. So sorry, saw the son, not his son. Saw
Yeah.
the son, and the only time he ever felt truly free." Um, and Hailee Steinfeld, I guess, says, "Me too. I love this lollipop."
Yeah. I had one day that was better, but we're not
We're not going
talking
to
about
discuss.
that
I had
now.
one day that was better, but we can't discuss that. It was great. It was honestly, it was top notch, but we won't discuss that. And that's the end. That's the end of the film. Um, what a ride, eh? What a
What a
ride.
time.
What a time. Okay, so any name game you want to play before we wrap
I can
things
do a
up?
couple for you if you like.
Do a couple for me. Okay. Do you want me to go first?
Yeah, go on.
Trying to leave their troubled lives behind, twin brothers return to their hometown. This is just the synopsis, isn't mine.
Yeah.
Trying to leave their troubled lives behind, twin brothers return to their hometown to start again, only to discover an even greater evil is waiting for them to come back. Um, But what happens is everyone involved in this particular night, the vampires turn up and they just send them packing. Nobody invites them in. Uh, and yeah, the vampires are the losers, but everybody else,
The winners.
they're the bloody
I
winners.
was going to
And what
say with a similar one, it'd be in this film when you get bitten by the baddies, you turn into a former politician and you say to someone who's panicking, "Calm down, dear. It's only a commercial."
the Michael winners.
The Michael winners.
I did. I thought that as well, but I could only think of a Michael winner. I couldn't think of someone else. I was trying to get two winners in there. Calm down, dear. It's only a commercial. How did that come about? What a weird time we lived in. Um,
Very strange.
okay.
Here's one for you then.
Yes.
Um, so in this film, um, a couple of brothers trying to restart their life and so on. And then when the vampires come and get you, you turn into an absolute loser minger when you're at school. And they slag them off.
Loser Minger.
You absolute minger. The school flea bag, in fact, if you get caught by one of the vampires here, you could
God.
say who we're facing against here.
I feel like this is going to be a regional thing, isn't it? This is
Might be a
going to be
regional
something that
one.
confuses me. Um, Spinner?
Not the spinner, the binners.
Oh, is that what you get called? The bunch of binners. You
You
absolute
binners.
bunch of binners. That is a regional thing, unfortunately. I've got a similar one for you there.
Go on then.
Trying to leave their troubles lives behind, twin brothers return to their hometown, start again, only to discover even greater evil is waiting to welcome them back. But when one of these vampires tears out someone's neck, rips their neck out, and blood's everywhere, somebody who's overseeing everything comes in and go, right, that's it. That's too far. Take 10 minutes to go and sit over there and think about what you've done, and then you can come back.
The sin binners.
The sin binners, exactly.
Okay. I've got one
Correct.
more for you today. Couple of brothers, they come back, try and set up a new life to put their past behind them in their old hometown. Um, and then they find themselves under attack by a famously bald actor who was in the original Westworld and played the King of Siam in The King and I.
Oh God, I can't think. I can picture. Is he on the Westworld poster?
I think so.
Oh, I don't know.
That's right. Yul Brynner's.
Oh Jesus, yeah, the Yule Bryners. Bloody hell, that's good. All right, one more. This is
Oh,
the last one for me. You may have to have some knowledge of recent British BBC comedy, This Country.
okay.
So, trying to leave their troubled lives behind, twin brothers return to their hometown and start again, only to discover an even greater evil is waiting for welcome them back. It's a vampire version of Kerry Mucklow, and she doesn't want to just eat one of you; she wants to eat two of you.
You know what? She's having double dinners.
She's having bloody double dinners, and she double dinners for the sinners. Oh my God! I'd watch that one. To be fair,
Ah, double dinners,
a
so
nice
good.
West Country load of vampires. Here we bloody go then, double dinners. You've been snuffling for slops. uh,
You've been having bloody double dinners.
double bloody dinners, mate. We've all had a double dinner, haven't we? We've all been somewhere where we've already eaten and someone's gone, I'm just rustling up some din dins, actually. We've got plenty. Do you want some? Yeah,
I
yeah,
love a
yeah,
double
yeah,
dinner.
yeah. Starving, mate, starving. Okay. Okay, let's rate the movie A to F. Pluses and minuses allowed. Rate good or rate bad. Sinners, how do you rate it, Andy?
Um, Strongly positive, Ben. I had a really good time with this. I think the production, the depth of character in this one is really something worth celebrating. The musical element by itself as well, something really different, something quite spectacular here. And also, you can mention the things that it does call back to, things like Dust Till Dawn. That's been a long time gone. I haven't seen that for a while. I know we might have it on the slate for in the not too distant future, but
Next month, I think, yeah.
yeah, I think this is a really fresh and interesting take on that, and so many directions that I'd like to see this spun off or expanded upon. I would
Yeah.
watch more of. Big fan. Coming in hot from just seeing this a few hours ago, but an A from me, I think.
An A, an A. Interesting. I like it. Um, I'm feeling pretty good about it still. I think I need to sit with it a little bit longer. I definitely want to listen to the soundtrack some more because hopefully that'll transport me back to how I felt about the film. As I mentioned, that final act feels a bit rushed for me. It feels like it rushes through, and I'm a bit disappointed that I don't get to spend more time with certain characters or even have certain characters have a real heroic moment that felt earned. I feel like a lot of those heroic moments are kind of just like thrown in there. However, despite that, amazing performances, great direction, like the stuff about the music, the transcending of the music, and that shared community and the shared memories of not just the black community but also the vampire community and the way those two things kind of like cross paths. Like it's fascinating. It is really unique. So I think an A minus because I really respect what it did. It's really swang for the what's the phrase? Swung for the fences. Is that?
Yeah, that's a good
Yeah,
phrase.
that's a phrase. Swung for the fences, like it's gone. You know, it's insane. Like everything that's combined to make this film sort of like this genre a melting pot. So yeah, A minus. I think currently that could go higher and it could go lower, depending on how much time I sit with it. But yeah, for me, Delroy Lindo. I love him in everything I see him in really, but I feel like he's the MVP of this film, despite the fact Michael B. Jordan's just doing Michael B. Jordan. I feel like the level of his quality level is so high anyway that
Yeah.
you just have to respect that. You don't go, oh, Michael B. Jordan was amazing. Didn't expect that. He's just always good. So yeah, there we go. A
Wow, there we
minus.
go. Another new release next week, right, Ben?
Yeah, another new release next week. Next week is Until Dawn. We're being joined by regular collaborator Ash Millman. So looking forward to that, having her back on the show. How exciting. But yeah, until then, let us know what you thought about Sinners. Let us know if you enjoyed it, if you think it is the best film of the year so far, as a lot of people are saying. Um,
Maybe.
yeah, maybe. But yeah, thanks everybody for listening. If you enjoyed the show, become a patron over at patreon.com/horror hangout. Thanks to all of our patrons over there. Thanks to Taj Easton for our theme music. Thanks to Acast for hosting the show. Please consider giving us a rating or review. We're on Threads, Instagram, Facebook, TikTok, YouTube, all of those places. Just search Horror Hangout Podcast, you'll find us. And horrorhangout.co.uk for everything all in one place. Very nice. There we go. Thanks, Andy, for being a right horror dude. I haven't said that for ages.
I know, it's well,
Thanking
thanks
you
to
for being a
you,
right horror
Ben,
dude.
for
I feel like I should do
continuing
it
to be a
more.
right horror dude. Yeah.
Yeah. And you know what? And if you're in a situation where Hailee Steinfeld gobs in your mouth, just, just, just go with it. Go
Anything
with the flow.
negativity that happens after that, maybe that's
If you're
okay.
getting your throat torn out afterwards, that might even it out a bit. But to be fair, what a way to go. Yeah. But until next week, then, Andy. See you soon.
See you later, everybody. Good night.
Bye bye then. Bye.
Bye. Bye.